1, 2, 1, 2. Welcome back to Smack Panda podcast. This week we were supposed to have a guest, but she got sick, so we're running solo, boys.
Running solo.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're back. We'll talk about it anyway in her absence, and I'm sure she'll regret.
Anyway,
she won't. What are we talking about? We're talking about Church of the Cosmic Skull.
Yeah.
Who I got onto these guys first for this. For the guitarists out there, there's this guy in Nashville who I've been following, and he's a dad. He's a guitarist, and he sits in his garage like he's a studio guitarist. Like he's fucking really good, like uber good guitarist, man. Session guitarist. That's it. His name's Tom Bukovac, and he just started when COVID hit over there. He just was sitting around drinking beers, and his wife said, "Oh fucking, why don't you play some shit, maybe keep people entertained while they're stuck at home?" So he goes, okay. And it started off him just with the camera, playing some songs, and said, I'll use these chords and all that. But now he's done almost 100 lessons now, and he's got like, I don't know, 40 or 50,000 people following him. Wow. And he's just the fucking coolest cat, man. His gear's amazing, and his playing is on point. And someone texted him and said, look, man, what music do you like? And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I found this band in England. They're called Church of the Cosmic Skull, and I've been fucking really digging them. It's good shit. And so I got onto them, and it is really good shit.
Yeah, right.
Oh, fuck, it's like the 70s never ended.
So they're around now.
They're around now, and they got the whole shtick, man. Like they're a church, you know.
Yeah, they're a cult.
They're basically a rock and roll cult.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, but the music, the guy that writes the music, he knows what he's doing. Like the music is super clever, but it's not. Anyone can listen to it. This sounds like rock and roll, but when you know a bit about music, you see what he's doing key changes and using diminished scale. He's doing all this freaky shit that the average punter wouldn't even know. But
yeah, right.
I pick it up. You know,
he's going off the G chord then.
He's going. Yeah.
Well, he's excelled.
Plus, they've got the whole church thing going with it, which is great, man. And everyone needs something to worship.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm worshipping now.
Yeah.
Cool. Check. Well, we might put a link in.
The film clip's pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, and it's all homemade, man.
Yeah,
like, as well. They do all their own shit, so they're not with a label or anything, man. All like home videos. Like I've emailed the guy, man. Send them an email. They're emailing you straight back.
Cool.
In fact, they're just fucking cool cats.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with this with the social media. That if you have the time and the inkling, you can now do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a musician or something, if you put enough
like
effort into
podcast?
it, like a podcast, you know,
Take the third party.
starts off
out
as
of
a few
it,
beers, and next thing you know, you're filming it. So
we got almost 1,000 views total.
hey. We haven't even paid for them yet. Wait until we pay for them. Fucking shillos.
10,000 a show. What's been happening, Willie, with you this week?
Got on a beard because I'm off work.
Oh, yeah,
I don't have to shave.
Yeah.
This is the happiest I've been in ages. Skin's all nice. Like, it's so good.
Do you think the coal dust actually cleans your skin?
No, it's more like,
No, it doesn't.
it gets in your pores. It's
It's really bad for you.
Yeah. But
It gives you the black lung.
gives you the black lung.
You guys wear masks the whole time down there? You're supposed to?
When I first started, this is really bad, but we weren't even wearing glasses, like nothing.
Yeah.
And the guys, even like when my dad started, it would have been worse. But, you know, you're meant to wear masks, but
You can't actually do the work.
sometimes it's just too restricting. Like, you can't breathe with it on.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's hot as fuck down there.
It's like being at the skate park. I'm wearing knee pads, mate.
Yeah, and you got to be cool as well.
We can't even get together helmets, you know.
Yeah.
We need all the cred points we can get. We went down to the pump track at the Heads this week with the kids. I picked Willie up on the way through. It lasted about half an hour. We had one of them go over. Evie went over and she got axed, as she put it.
Yeah,
she was out. She's pretty sensitive kid.
She said that.
Yeah, I got axed. I got axed. So she was in tears, and then about 3 minutes later, I was flat on my guts.
Yeah.
And
It's just
Willie
a bad feeling, but
you
like,
just get the vibe.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
Was this skating? Like
Yeah.
skateboarding?
Yeah, we're not
trying to.
We're not very good.
No.
Shit house.
If we
really.
can land
Strange time
an
to take
ollie.
it up in your life, actually. You know.
Yeah, it is weird.
I understand snowboarding because you fall over in snow and it's all right.
Nah, you still break shit.
Yeah, if it's hard snow, if it's soft snow, you're all right, but you don't really get that in Australia, I suppose. It's all hard.
Well, speaking back at home, I watched it was just a little doc on Vice today called it's about a place where the land isn't actually owned by anyone. Is it Henema?
Oh.
Maybe have you heard of this place?
Whereabouts in Australia? Or?
No, it's in New Zealand.
Oh.
I'd get my phone and check real quick.
There's a few places, like a lot of tribes have their own land, but there's a few islands that were never occupied.
And this was
And there's a few hippie communes. And
yeah,
shit
that's
like,
what it is.
Yeah,
it's like the last.
Yeah.
Where is it?
There's a couple.
Oh, sorry, it's Mahana.
Yeah. There's
Freeland of the last hippie.
And the Coromandel, there's Mahana, and that's kind of gone a bit to shit or something.
Yeah,
I think
it looked crap. Now.
Yeah, but there's still another one in the top of the South Island. And they're looking for families to move over there, and that seems pretty cool. Everyone gets $200 a week, but everything's taken care of. And but like all of them, they seem to be running out of children.
Yeah,
that
was the issue with this place. He said there was like 20 years ago there was 27 kids there.
Yeah,
now there's like one.
And I think what's happened there is people will now have their eyes on the prize of if this whole thing falls over, we'll be able to score this land.
Yeah, and people were starting to this old guy that's been there from the start. He's kind of basically isolated now. He's had falling out with other people that live in different spots, and he's walking around touring these old places and just reminiscing about the good old times. And he walked into a room and you could see people were hanging dope there and just using them to grow. So then there's that
capitalism sneaks its way in there everywhere.
So that it looked really cool back in the day when it was working.
Those places would only work like with educated people in there that know why they're in there.
Yeah.
They're not in there to get the new iPhone or something. They're in there to have a different style of life. And personally, I'd love a holiday in somewhere like that.
Holiday.
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle living there, but I don't know. I've been thinking. It seems that something. I think everyone can say that something's happening in the world society. Like there's major changes happening everywhere. Like the technology's gone mental. The money system's falling over. We got COVID. Everyone seems a bit antsy and don't know what the fuck's going on. And hopefully it's like we're in a birth canal. The human race is a baby and we've been on this planet. We've gestated and now we're coming into the birth canal where we could go out to the universe or we could die in the canal, which is a very dangerous place to be. But there does seem to be some change. And I was trying to think, what would my perfect society be? And I'm thinking something like the 1950s where everyone had gardens and shit. 1950s without the racism and wife beating.
Yeah.
But also with the technology when I want it. I don't want Facebook tracing me when they want it. But if I want to be able to use the library, on my phone or something, I want it. But the balance, there is a pushback in society to go back, especially after COVID. Bunnings sold out of seeds.
Yeah.
A few months ago they had no seeds because everyone's like, oh fuck, we might need to grow our own food.
Yeah.
And yes, you might.
It's a good thing.
It's a fucking good thing.
I think we need to address your nose.
Oh, Well, from the previous episodes, people should realise that there was some shenanigans going on.
I want to ask you, who wore it better, Matt or Michael?
Michael
Jackson.
Oh, yeah. No, only his mum calls him Michael.
Wacko Jacko.
And those little kitties. Those hundreds of little kitties. Don't forget that, people, when you listen to your Michael Jackson, he was a scumbag.
You know, I haven't listened to a song since...
I can't listen to it.
I can't. I watched that fucking series.
That guy wasn't lying. That was so true.
And you could understand...
Remember the Aussie guy? And he was on a Michael Jackson video. He was like a 7-year-old and Michael played in Brisbane and he came out on stage and he was a fucking great dancer. And he was Michael Jackson's best friend. His parents took him over. These parents are all fucked. Sorry, parents, if you're watching this. A grown man wants to sleep with my 7-year-old kid.
The night you meet him, they go to Neverland and they let him stay up in the big house with Michael in his bedroom, in his bed.
Yeah.
They stay off in a separate house. Him and the sister.
Yeah,
and then they keep going back. I'm like... That's not a normal thing.
He's just a Peter Pan kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's a fucking pedophile. Oh, my fucking God.
Oh, man.
And really, listen to his music, not to knock him, but the guy couldn't write an ending. Every single song has faded out.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Yeah, sorry, I'm not into it, man. So once you start fucking children, sorry, I'm not into it.
Done in my book, man. I don't give a fuck how good your music is.
I almost didn't get the nose job because of that.
You don't want to be stamped with that label, mate.
I know what he's... Yeah, and for all those Michael Jackson fans, you really need to fucking take a serious look at yourself.
Yeah, man. How can you support something like that after?
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it and you go and watch, that stuff stayed with me for like 2
and
weeks,
everyone
man.
knew, man, like this culture. Like, there's an interview of Dionne Warwick, who's a great singer. She sung with all the Burt Bacharach tracks and that, and she knew Michael Jackson. She had a song called Michael, and she was saying in an interview I saw of her that when he was like 7 or 8, she goes, he came up to her and said, "Did you write that song for me?" And she goes, "He was such a cute kid, and then he turned into what we all know he turned into."
Yeah,
and this was before that video came out, so everyone was in the know about what he was.
Have you heard the theory about him getting castrated as a kid, being fed a certain type of pills by his old man? This is like a conspiracy
is that
theory
to try
to keep his voice high, because your voice doesn't break if you don't have the testosterone.
But he's so softly spoken now.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Well, it's very
I
haven't heard him for a long time.
So he never went through puberty because of these.
Nah, but he's the shit he
He
was
went through
doing.
puberty, got
Definitely.
tall and shit like that. He
Yeah,
did,
and plus that motherfucker was doing stuff that you do when you go through puberty. Like,
he was trying to make
Yeah,
excuses.
but why did his voice stay so?
It didn't stay as high as he was when he was a kid.
it's probably just a way.
But you go back and watch some of these videos, the world was mental. Like, and it makes me wonder what we're being mental about now. But there's one of the videos, I can't remember the way you make me feel, and he's basically stalking this chick down the street. And then he jumps on the car and he starts fucking humping the car and humping the ground.
Yeah,
and like the whole world was fucking.
I don't
just
know Michael Jackson.
sideswiped by this
passing out to it. And
Yeah.
he was like
Wow.
a god, man. I'm telling you, the
I never
days
got
of
into
like real
Well, fucking
celebrity.
good on you, because it was shit.
Probably wouldn't have back then. Bloody hell,
Well,
he would have
Metallica,
liked you, but
The children.
Save the children.
oh Willie.
You see that thing where he did the Brit Awards and he got up there and he did his little spiel, did his song, whatever the shit song was, because also the songs towards the end of his career were
Garbage.
Blood on the dance floor.
At the beginning, okay, I could understand it would kind of catch you. Some of the Jackson 5 stuff was actually pretty cool, but and he gets up there and he's doing this little fucking dancey thing and all the dancers around him, and then he has this like priest come up and kiss his hand, and a rabbi comes up and kisses his feet, and it gets fucking. This is on the Brit Awards, the big British. But there's a British guy called Jarvis Cocker who's in a band called Pulp, and he is sitting there. He goes, "Fuck this." And he jumps up on stage and just he puts his little finger out where his pants is and pretends to wank off like this, and it's live fucking worldwide.
Wow.
Good on him, man.
Yeah,
Because the guy, like,
He's a
Jackson was
monster.
fucking off the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a monster.
And also, Prince was out at the time. Now, if you're into that style of music, fucking listen to Prince.
Yeah.
Out of that fight between who better, Michael Jackson or Prince, it's fucking Prince,
Yeah.
Have you heard Charlie Murphy do his bit on playing basketball against Prince?
Oh, yeah. That's
That was awesome. If you haven't watched that,
The Dave
check that
Chappelle,
out.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is
Have you seen
just
that?
Nah.
the funniest shit, man.
We'll put a link up to
Yeah,
it.
you
It
gotta
is
watch
the
it,
funniest
man.
skit of all time,
Yeah,
probably.
right.
Yeah. Prince, and then
because he can fucking. He goes, he could fucking play. He's like coming out with all the
player.
frills and shit.
Yeah.
they gave him basketball against him. He's a fucking ninja, like Michael Jordan. Yeah.
What song was it that Eddie Van Halen played?
Well, that's an interesting. He did Beat It.
Yeah,
and he
okay.
did the solo, and the story is I've seen. There's a doco on Netflix called Hired Guns, and it's got all these guitarists and drummers that were hired to do the studio work. And a lot of these bands in the 60s and 70s didn't play any of their music because they were too shit, and it cost a lot of money to have someone in the studio. So
Beatles was one, wasn't it?
yeah, well, it's a bit hush hush with the Beatles, but there evidently a few Ringo tracks were played by Bernard Purdie and things. But their music wasn't that technically difficult, But the Beach Boys, they didn't play fuck all of their stuff. They was all session guys. They were the dudes from Memphis. I can't remember the name. Anyway, so yeah, the Beat It solo. So evidently Van Halen comes in, he's drunk as fuck, and he blasts his Marshall, and
What a guy.
remember the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
This is actually a fucking cool solo, and he does this solo, and the last note's like high fucking C or something, just screaming, and the Marshall blows up, flames come out of it. The last note, and they have to fucking get the he blew the studio monitors up, and they had to use flame
Extinguishers.
fire retardant on it.
Yeah, right.
Evidently, that's the story. But there's another guy, the guy that played in all, who was at that session as well, and he played the rest of the song. Steve Lukathy is the guitarist from Toto, and he was the man when it came to studio musicians. Didn't fuck up. One take, give him $1,000 and you'll get to take in one go. You know, that's what it all came down to, money, because the guys in the band might fuck it up for a couple of days.
Yeah,
Whereas these guys would just do it, man.
Yeah.
And evidently, the take was it was the solo. Eddie Van Halen did the solo, but it was a bit rough, and so he fucked off and drank the scotch and all that. And while he was gone, evidently Steve Lukather had to listen to the solo and cleaned it all up and fucking.
Fuck.
So
Wow.
even Eddie, the great Eddie,
the god,
the god, rest in peace, our Eddie. I don't know if that's true or not, but it rings a bit true.
It's a good story, but
yeah. How did we get onto that? Oh, we're talking about my nose.
yeah.
So anyway,
Michael Jackson.
yeah. Well, last night was the first night in probably 15 years where I'll be able to breathe out both nostrils, man. It was fucking awesome.
That's what it's for.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Actually, open it all up.
I can't wait to see if your face changes.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
just from the nose job.
this
but
comes
from
off tomorrow. Well, it'll be interesting to see what my voice sounds like and everything. Because I do singing and that as well, so I'm actually pumped to see
Clear
what
it
that
up a
sounds
bit.
like.
Yeah.
I might sound like Tom Jones or some shit.
Jesus.
Or Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Worst case.
So how'd they do it?
Well, they evidently they cut here, then they rip the fucking skin back and expose the bone, and then they get some drills, power drills, DeWalt ones from Bunnings. They drill this shit out of here,
At least they're not a Zito.
and then they chisel. So they've drilled all through your bone structure here, and then they get a couple of chisels and old school hammer, man. It's whack whack, and they do straight breakages there and bring the whole thing back together.
Damn.
So one line might be a bit shallower than the other, so they can actually line it up to the middle because they had a deviated septum and shit. So
Cool.
yeah, man, brutal. Fucking,
Yeah, it doesn't sound
I
like.
tell you, it's recovered pretty quick. But
I'm amazed,
It's only like,
man.
what,
Yeah, it's only been a
9
week.
days? 10?
last Tuesday, so it'll be 9 days.
Yeah.
And they said the first 2 or 3 days would be the worst, and they were. And I thought, fuck, man, I'd never have done this.
Yeah.
It's funny with pain because at the time I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have done this. This was so bad.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. And then
Quick to
now
forget
I'm
it,
like,
but-
fuck,
Yeah.
that's all right. you
Yeah,
know?
it's like the pain of doing something physical as well. While you're in it, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
And then man, I've done some pretty. We just went out once and ran 50 Ks after not training, and just the impact and shit on your feet and the time you're on your legs. Like we did it in the trails, and I think back, I'm like,
You
like
really
it was.
damaged yourself though, couldn't you?
Oh
doing
yeah,
that?
but fuck, who cares? It's good for your head.
yeah, that's right.
It's just a mental test, but
Yeah.
you think back to it, and I'm like, I don't know, that wasn't that bad. But then you go out and get in 40 plus or 38 plus, and you remember that those pains in your feet and
Yeah.
shit when you're not accustomed to.
Well,
that
the classic
type of
is
stuff.
our lady friends and babies.
Yeah.
They go through the most extreme
Yeah.
pain and
But
they
they've
forget
got-
all about it.
They've got a
Yeah.
higher threshold, don't they?
Pain threshold. Well, we don't.
Apparently.
It's hard to tell.
It's
though,
hard to
isn't it?
gauge
You
it.
know,
I don't
They
think
do
so.
believe that, though.
Well, I'm gonna get some fucking heat for that. But I think the body's built to do it, man. So
Yeah,
the
they've-
hormones would be set to do it.
I
You
think it's
get the right
hormonal thing.
chemical
And
response.
I think they definitely forget about the pain.
Oh,
and they
'cause
get a
the
baby
joy's
and they're like,
like-
"Oh, we got
yeah.
this baby. This
Yeah.
is awesome."
Yeah.
And, and we want another baby, but they can compartmentalize them.
Yeah.
And it's
Plus
only
all the
12
drugs.
hours or whatever it is.
Nah,
all
man.
the drugs. Yeah.
Em did them completely natural both
Did she?
times.
Oh, awesome.
And enjoyed it.
Yeah. Wow.
She just loves the birth experience. She's talking to some of her friends. She's like, "This is a fucking man podcast. We're talking about birthing."
It's all right.
We were all born at some point.
True.
Death and war and shit soon.
But yeah,
Good on her. That's and I'm glad she says that to other women though, because
Yeah.
there seems to be like when Hayley was pregnant, there seems to be this old mums club where they like giving the new pregnant mum a bit of shit about how
Yeah.
bad it's going to be and all that, whereas they shouldn't, man.
No,
Like,
it's pretty
you know,
cool.
you're going to get a new fucking baby. This is
My
great.
thing
Everyone
was-
should be laughing when it's on. Like,
Yeah,
this is fucking
and to
awesome.
be honest, when I was in there, I think it was like we had good birthing experiences. We were lucky in that we both had both our girls were smooth, but
Yeah.
in delivery and stuff, well, they were for me. But no,
Well, that was definitely smooth.
While
Yeah.
you're at the pub.
nah, man, I was in there doctoring it up.
My first was born Kai, and he was like 18 hours into it, and wouldn't come
Whoa.
out. And they got this Russian fucking doctor came out and goes, "I'll get him out the stirrups," you know, the old fucking
Oh shit!
old plier things, and dragged
Yeah.
the little
Soviets,
bugger
yeah.
out. They bugger out, but his cord is wrapped around his neck and all that, man. So it was really heavy. You know?
Lucky
Luckily,
he
at the
was
time I was only 25, and I was hungover.
Shit.
I was drunk. Like he came a month early, and so my mates had all taken me out a month beforehand, you know, because I wouldn't be able to go out or anything. And so I got the call at the pub.
Shit.
fucking it's on, you know.
It'd be disastrous.
Yeah, but at the time, because it's quite a young age and you're kind of resilient. And you don't really appreciate
What's
happening, you know.
Yeah, 25, that's so young.
That's
Looking
young.
back now,
Yeah.
your brain's not even fully formed,
man.
you?
Sometimes I
still
feel
a
like I
monkey.
was more together then than I am now.
Yeah, you got punched.
Well, I suppose you had a focus then, like a full-on focus, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Purpose.
mean you had the wisdom you have now.
Nah,
in fact, the
I
more
definitely
wisdom you
don't
have, the
think so.
more fucking loose you feel,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, Jesus Christ,
question
it.
I really didn't know anything, you know,
Yeah.
and I still don't.
It's like this week I tapped back into looking at like I went back and listened to Dorian Yates, the body six-time Mr. Olympia, on like first I listened to him on Rogan again, that podcast that we never listened to.
Yeah,
and,
I never heard of him.
In London Real.
I first saw him on London Real, actually.
He's good. Into the Shadows, like they did a doco on him, but he's an interesting cat, man. And then it brought back all the stuff with the ayahuasca and the DMT trips, and he's been on a real like spiritual journey for a while.
Was that after his professional career as the Mr. World, Mr. Olympia?
Yeah. When he finished, like he went through a bunch of shit. Like he retired, which they can relate to.
He had a problem with Schwarzenegger, didn't he?
I don't know.
Did they go up against each other?
No, not really. He was more later on.
Yeah, the next generation.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe Coleman was like early days against.
Yeah.
I think Dorian's considered one of like maybe the best of all time.
He's not that tall, but compared to
you look at guys; these guys are monsters.
Yeah, but he looks good now. I remember him seeing photos.
Has he shrunk well? Or
he's shrunk. Yeah, he looks good.
He just seems like he's got his shit together now. Like he still goes and does the ceremonies and stuff, and he just seems like he's evolving all the time.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
How old would he be now? In his 60s?
Maybe 50s, maybe like mid 50s or so.
Should ask Dr. Google.
And so you were watching Dorian Yates today, and what did that bring back?
Oh, it's just like then it led me into this movie that they got up called Reconnect that Brian Rose did. Did you watch that on London Real? And it goes through Brian's own journey. Like,
he was a heroin addict.
Yeah, and like he was a Wall Street banker, and then he made London Real, and then he made it like a business, and then he noticed like he was getting tied up in just trying to be the best at everything all the time, and that like connected straight away. I was like I can understand that where you're just constantly in this chase for shit. So he'd done ceremonies before, but then he'd come back and kind of get lost in the system.
I stopped watching London Real before he'd done an ayahuasca.
Okay.
You know, his mate had done ayahuasca and came back from Peru, just a fucking bambling idiot, man. He was fucking raving about it, you know? And Brian was trying to calm him down and say, okay, we're on a podcast, you've got to fucking talk straight. And I was like, no, man, the world's great. Fucking, we're going to be great.
Yeah.
You know, which is a cool attitude and that. So I have to catch up on his actual trips down there, you know?
Yeah, because he went through some shit for sure. But so then who was it? Dennis McKenna called him. Terrance
someone's going to call him.
Yeah.
Dennis is the person to call.
They're the guys that bloody studied hallucinogenics.
Yeah. Well, they were the original Dennis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they talk. They got some interesting
stuff.
stuff.
I've read that book you gave me.
Yeah. Which one was that?
McKenna's.
Is that where it went?
Is it his diaries or something?
Yeah.
He was logging a lot of...
His first trips in Peru.
Oh, man, it's hard to read.
His language is
He did like 2 weeks of fucking just full-on tripping, you know. And this was in the early 60s, I think, before anyone knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
No one had actually done psychedelic mushrooms in the West, really, especially no scientists, and actually try to map the territory that happens. And so that's what that book was about. And it's funny. I get these books... As a side note, I love these books, and I don't even think I've finished that book, but I just want to give them away to people.
Well, you gave it to me for my birthday.
Oh, did I?
But you know the funny thing, I was reading Jocko Willink's book at the same time, which is like straight
contradictory to it.
Yeah, and it was so hard to go to that.
Jocko needs to take an ayahuasca trip, man. Like his black and white view of the universe.
Yeah,
but I think with his history,
he's good at times.
It might not go well for him.
Yeah, maybe not. Dorian Yates is 58.
He's 58.
Fucking looks great.
58, smokes heaps of weed, but he's just all up on the health benefits of it. I think he lives in Spain now. Just cycles, does heaps of yoga.
He's English?
Yeah, English dude. He So anyway, I was like delving into that side of things again. It was interesting. It just connected straight away because I was like, fuck. like Brian's he's a super successful guy now, and going into Dorian's second stage of life where he's like not a bodybuilder anymore. He was talking about how he's recognised for the shit on London Real and Rogan more, like bringing spirituality to the forefront and talking about the trips and different shit, and people like helping people like they've gone and done it and then healed because of him coming out and saying he'd done stuff.
It's interesting.
It was pretty interesting. Fuck. Like, man, I was sitting there watching something last night. Fucking tears rolling down my cheeks. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was weird, man.
I'll tell you what, that's been happening to me fucking heaps lately. It's weirding me out.
Like,
I never have been, bro. I've been watching kids' movies. I watch fucking Nanny
movies are the worst, man.
The other day, and luckily my nose was broken. Because I was fucking crying like a baby when she got rid of the last wart. I was like, oh, fuck, the wart's gone. So it's weird. I find you just find everything wonderful. I don't know, not everything wonderful, but I just find the joy of beautiful things.
It's kids, man.
Yeah, I've just watched 6 seasons of Vikings back to back.
Ripping fucking guts open. Vikings, but then it kind of once he died in the pit of snakes.
Ragnar.
Yeah,
you know what's cool though? Like,
drag.
I can't. If I find out something's a little bit based on a story,
then you hunt it down.
I'm there fucking googling it, like
exactly like
doing research at the same time and going, hang on, Lagatha's not really a person, you know, like going through, but. A lot of the stories are true. Like,
yeah, it was
not true, but
based. Like
people actually wrote about Ragnar Lothbrok and Bjorn Ironside, all these Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, so it was
the Vikings. Cool. Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah, but
they didn't have the thing about the Vikings. They had to wait for the right winds because they weren't smart enough to realise you could put a boom on a sail and actually ride against the wind. You could tack, motherfuckers. They went into tacking. You know, people in the South Pacific, they've been tacking for thousands of years.
See, they got into the game late, though, the Vikings.
Yeah. Well, what was their history as well?
Well, like, they were traders early on.
Phoenicians or something, weren't they? Were they...
No, they were Northmen.
But how did they get up?
They were trading with... whoever's closest, I don't know. Somehow they found it. They were trading like pelts and shit like that because pelts were so valued and that. So they were trading that, learning about boats and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then sort of honed it for themselves. And then they started attacks along like France.
I suppose no one really wanted to attack them back, did they? Because there's nothing up there.
No, they're too brutal, but I think they were
just savages.
Yeah. Have you heard what a blood eagle is?
Nah.
Yeah, that was on that show, wasn't it?
Well, it's... I don't know. I heard it from... I used to listen to this band, Monomath, and they were like pretending to be Viking, you know...
That started with Led Zeppelin, didn't it? Those fuckers.
That was their whole show. They had a boat and shit, and the singer would be fucking roll, like, you know, like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We seen them live. They were fucking great. Anyway, so the Blood Eagle is they cut the rib cage open and display the lungs on the outside of the chest as an eagle.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of like...
savage.
Was that actually happened, though? Or was that just a myth that came
I don't know. You got, like, Indians scalping people, like...
But you know where that came from?
The scalping?
That wasn't a thing that they did. That was actually because the French were going over there murdering all these Indians and taking their heads for wigs. And so it was actually paybacks for the French for fucking doing that. So it was actually a French thing. Yeah, the American Indians went into that shit originally.
But you know how brutal people get.
They can get brutal. Well, especially in when there's no cops around. Cops can be pretty brutal, but, you know, like, they're better to have than not. Yeah. You know, because at least there is some sense.
But look at, like, back then, you ain't got any cops around.
There's no cops around.
Nah, like, times are fucking...
But also in that community where it was really hard, it was cold and shit. Like, in Australia, I don't think they were probably doing that. They've been hanging out...
Aboriginals.
Yes, 100,000 years.
Have you read that Black Emu that my dad was...
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of trying to get Bruce Pascoe on the show. So we're talking about it because he's over at Wollongong Guinea and the Dark Emu. It's
that's
because the way the Aboriginals did their astrology wasn't through the stars, wasn't through the light of the stars and making a horoscope. Allegedly. It was actually through the gaps in between the stars.
Okay.
And there's a gap in between the stars that looks like an emu, and when the emu jumps or something like that, that's the time you can go harvest these crops. But the rundown of the Dark Emu and Bruce Pascoe uses nothing but original Australia colonists' diaries, their own diaries. He doesn't use Aboriginal sources.
Yeah.
And all through these diaries, the original people in Australia, like first Europeans to come here, they see these Aboriginal people with miles and miles of farms and fields.
Kangaroo farms.
Like kangaroo farms, like wheat farms. They weren't hunter-gatherers. They were fucking farmers.
Wow.
And the whole hunter-gatherer thing was actually... Because if you're going to steal someone's land... They got to not use it. They don't deserve the land because they're just fucking around. We'll bring them to the civilization. So that was actually just a story.
Wow.
And the reason, but not all of them did it. Obviously, the later colonists that came over, by then the Aboriginals had turned into hunter-gatherers because they've been driven off the land. And also, wherever the sheep went, Australia's land is so kind of poor here, loses moisture really quickly. But there's a funny, you've probably been bushwalking in untouched bush for a while, and there'll be a little funny weird moss on the ground, like a light green lichen type thing. Well, this stuff was all over Australia, and it actually kept all the moisture in the soil. But the first thing the sheep did was eat that. And once they ate that, the soil went fucked.
Yeah.
So we'll try and get Bruce on if we can, but that's the rundown. And it also says something about what is history? It's someone's story.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
This is whatever story, like Russia bad or whatever the shit is going to be, it's going to help someone.
Yeah.
There is not one perfect angle to view anything from as the right angle. Man.
Yeah, well, it's like how we view things now. Like, it's whatever narrative we're being fed.
Well, trying to find the narrative. That's what you got to do in any story, man.
Yeah, because
where's the narrative?
Like, if you're just looking at, like, media shit now, it's like everything's fucking disastrous. But I'm sure, like for America, for example, looks like it's up in the shit.
Well,
I'm sure if we went over there and we're in communities, like it wouldn't be what we're seeing it. What we're fed that it is.
Well, a lot of us, absolutely, media is so powerful, and like the world's gone to shit. But then I'll go down the shops and everyone's alright.
Cool.
You know,
we're cool.
People are actually alright. We can't. Humans just couldn't survive if we were at each other's throats. We're too weak.
Yeah.
Lions would eat us and shit like that. The only way it's survival of the fittest,
together.
but it's survival of the fittest community. We're not the fittest. You know, we're the weakest animal on the fucking planet, really.
Yeah, chimps could come in and fucking rip us apart in 3 seconds.
That's right. You know, we've got no natural armor or we've got no natural anything apart from our brains.
Yeah. And how good are they? We just fuck ourselves up with them half the time. I do.
So, you know, Trumpy. So last time we spoke, I called Trump. I thought he might just
forced into Biden, and it looks like he's taking it off.
No. What'd you base that on?
So, because we already had... but not to say we're pro-Trump.
Nah.
Or
it's just...
I don't really think...
Pick a turd, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't think it really fucking matters at the end of the day.
But out of all of it, I think Trump, you know, like, it's a shame he said such stupid things. Because occasionally he would say stuff that was about the military-industrial complex and about these continual wars to make people money and blowing up brown people all around the world just to make fuckers money. It's not America's going to save the world. It's fucking Halliburton's going to make a few billion from this. Yeah. You know, and he was the only politician
that ever spoke up
that ever said anything about it.
He didn't need money either. Like, he didn't need backing.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think he's more like just mouths off. Yeah. And that's why even Foxtel ended up hating him at the end because they couldn't trust him to stick down the line. Yeah. You know, he let too much shit out. Yeah, yeah. And but you know, like I'm not pro him because he fucking gave Wall Street massive tax cuts. He increased the military budget by 30% and all. Again, so he was a quandary. He was a fucking weird guy. But now we're just gonna. There is no change. There's no hope in change anything now, man. Like
how's all the Biden shit that's coming out as of late? About the laptops and
his son's laptop, but I think they're all. I hate to say they're all corrupt anyway. They all went to Jeffrey Epstein's and screwed children. You know, and he just happened to hang himself and break his ribs in a fucking maximum security jail. No one's doing it. No media's talking about it or anything.
They don't hear about any of that shit.
Only if you listen to the shit that we do, or if you pay attention.
Yeah, and it sounds like QAnon, sounds like bullshit, but it's not. No. He was going to jail for pedophile rings. Yeah. He was a fucking legit. Yeah. Bill Clinton went on his plane 30 fucking times. Yeah. You know, like it's the. You think it's all conspiracy? That's why. I just want to talk about London Real. You're talking about Brian from London Real, and he got in a lot of shit and got deplatformed because he had David Icke on. Yeah. Now, David Icke is such an interesting character. And he's a classic for someone like me who likes conspiracy theory. I've got this ring here, and this ring I got off the daughter of a guy called Robert Anton Wilson, who wrote the book called Illuminatus. He was the original conspiracy theory guy.
Shit.
Like, he is the cosmic trigger guy.
Yeah.
But he was also an engineer and an ultimate skeptic. And it had a really good sense of humour, you know. And he would have loved these times. Whereas David Icke seems to have taken these things on
Is he
and believe in all of them.
Is he David Icke? Where do I know that name from?
Oh, he's the biggest
well known, yeah.
conspiracy
I can't
guy
put it
around.
together.
He's been
right now.
around for like,
Is he the
30
skeptic?
or 40 years.
Skeptic
No,
Society?
not skeptic. No, fuck.
Oh, he's on
man.
the other side.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
He's
he talks
the
about
conspiracy
the lizard
society.
people and
Well, that's the annoying thing.
He's on the
5G
Alan
thing.
Jones.
Yeah, that is the annoying thing because he's got some shit that's a bit far fetched and that
And it
gets,
ruins
that
the
gets,
other stuff
yeah,
that's
it does.
actually
It
halfway
blows it,
decent.
it legitimizes him being a conspiracy theorist and using that term to fucking delegitimize what
And
he's
it puts a
saying.
lot
about
of people put a
things.
lot of energy into him. Like, I've
Yeah.
got friends in that. And you get change in this world. We live in democracies. For those of you listening watching Saudi Arabia, you don't. So you need to sort that out. But even if our democracies are problematic, they still have an opportunity. If you want to change the world, you either start a party or you join a party, and you can change the fucking party. You actually can. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes getting out into your neighbourhood talking to motherfuckers. It doesn't get out there talking about lizards and shit. That just ruins it and makes everyone weaker.
Yeah.
It might be fucking true, but it's not. You're not going to get rid of lizards, and it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a weak way of thinking about
Like
things,
crab
man.
people.
If you want someone... if you want to learn what's going on, number one, start with a guy called Noam Chomsky. Noam, he's in his 90s now, but he's been the biggest brain on the planet for the last
like a
50 years.
philosopher, eh?
Yeah, he was as a professor of linguistics, but he was against the Vietnam War at the beginning there. And if you're talking about sharpness, about a sharp thinking, and he actually taught me how to think.
Yeah.
I used to believe everything.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
someone tell me a good argument, I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Someone said the opposite argument next day, I don't believe that.
That's all
Very
right.
gullible.
And then it was Chomsky who actually showed me reading his books and that, and it's such a boring way of talking.
Yeah.
Is how to think. You don't
Yeah.
worry about what they say. Obama said it's going to be hopey, changing it really nice. We're going to help people. What did he do? Blew the fuck out of the Middle East,
Yeah.
killed a lot of children, and then he bailed out Wall Street and put 10 million American families on the street. Okay, so you follow what he does. Don't follow what the people say. But if they say something and do the opposite, that will give you information. But, you know, like when you start following the actual acts, then you get a different worldview. Not the storyline, man. You know, and but we're not taught that in school. This is called critical thinking.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think with the amount of information we all get, it's the number one thing that kids need to be taught.
Yeah,
how to
especially
how to
now.
think.
Yeah,
How
to
there's so
think,
much
man.
shit to decipher now.
Yeah, you're not going to get one
Even the
straight
way
answer.
they
Yeah.
teach maths.
It's
Left
all-
to
I've got-
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
how
don't
they
have to
teach it.
learn it left to right.
Yeah.
There's not one way to do mathematics.
Oh,
There's
really?
a few ways. I read years
Left
ago.
to right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, found this book. I think it was like $5, like a mathematics book, because I was so shit at maths.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought, fuck it, I'm going to get like half decent.
Yeah.
But because it was teaching all these different ways, I ended up confusing myself and just buying a calculator. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they were saying go right to left is easier than left to right.
But how does that work? Let's say you're adding up numbers, but you've got to add the 10. You've got to add the 1 or something.
I don't know, because I read about 5 pages and thought this isn't a book for me.
Maybe there's a twist to it somewhere.
I think the old school way of there's new methods that
Left
kids
to
bring
right.
on. Well, yeah, but just carry the 1 up top, not down it's like an abacus, you know how an abacus works, and that's all the numbers are. They're just an abacus that's on a page, you know.
But I'm not the person to talk to about math.
Yeah.
I think I got
Yeah.
a 13 in my trials for...
I did really well, and then one
Year
year
10.
I just couldn't understand it anymore.
I just stopped caring.
I started surfing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to school.
Yeah, that's because they don't make
6
it
foot
interesting.
barrels
eh?
down.
Like-
Man, yeah, just...
And also, math is when it gets hardcore, it's very unphysical. It's all on a board and it's all weirdness. But
Not
you
good
don't.
for boys.
We don't need that now because we can actually get computer programs to actually show what that equation is doing. You know, somewhere to visualise it where you don't need to be able to do these internal machinations in your head and stuff. The world's changed, you know. And I think it's this whole, there's an elitism in science and physics now with mathematics. They have, you know, classic physics professor who's got a whole board of fucking equations. Yeah, a kid with an iPad will be able to show that equation on one little fucking diagram. So look at this, that's what it's doing.
I think it's good to keep that, though. I think it's good to hold on to little pieces of history like that.
Oh, the numbers are weird, man. Like the number 9, it's a fucking weird number. You times any number by the number 9, like any number, and it will add up to 9 at the end of it. So what? 9 times 3, 27. 2 plus 7, 9.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Yeah, 9 times 9, 81. 8 plus 1 is 9.
You know what? I've never actually cared.
If you do 9 times 347,556,032, you add them all up, they'll add up to 9. So in the old days before there was computers, there was actually women called computers, and they would go through checking these, like, let's say there's accountancy books and shit. And what they did, the 9 actually, because you can do that, 9 adds up to 0. So any 9s or any numbers in these equations that would add up to 9, you can actually cross them out, and then you have a lot smaller numbers, and you add them all together. And if they equate to what the bank put down, they're right. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, okay.
But there's all these tricks that people have used throughout antiquity to do with numbers and these patterns that are in numbers that just seem fucking weird. Like, why does 9 do that?
That's bizarre.
It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
So, math is interesting. If I had a teacher teaching me that shit when I was at high school, I might have done math, but I failed it because I was.
How many teachers did you have that actually cared about what they were teaching?
I reckon one.
Maybe one, and you actually
one
listened.
Or two.
I had a
maybe two,
history teacher, and he was so passionate about
normally the arsehole teachers were the good ones because they were actually trying to get you to do work. She's a bitch.
Yeah, no, I found the ones that liked what they were teaching that actually rubbed off on everyone else. And you wanted to learn because they actually brought out the good sides of it.
I feel like as a young, like when I was 14, 15, the only guy I'd listen to was the one that was a hard ass. And he'd actually put his foot down and fucking, you'd respect him enough to shut up and do the work. And like, that was a science teacher for us. Like, I fucking hated science, but I did all right in the class just because I was kind of scared of the teacher.
We had he was just big and fat and breathed really loudly.
How do you respect that?
No, I didn't. No one did. But he tried to be like real dominant, sort of dominant, and everyone just used to pay him out behind his back, and I
love science, man. I was always a science fiction buff and did science. I was good at science until they said, all right, now we're going to memorise the periodic table. Like, fuck, I'm going to memorise the periodic table. I'm not Harry Potter.
Not going to Hogwarts, motherfucker.
That was it. And I'm a fucking science fiction nut. I've loved science all my life, but that just killed me. And that was not my fault. It's their fault for making such a fucking boring thing and turning a really interesting subject into something really fucking boring,
It is fucking boring. Numbers are boring.
Yeah.
Unless they're in your bank, then they're good.
Yeah.
Unless
you're in your bank, that's true.
I started watching a little doco on Hunter S. Thompson today.
Oh, yeah?
Which one was that? The Johnny Depp one?
I don't know. It was like a YouTube
the movie?
one.
Yeah, no, Johnny Depp did the documentary after he died in that as well. Yeah,
right. It just had all different random cuts. And people talking about him.
He was a good writer, man.
It seemed like an interesting dude.
I'll give you a book.
He's got some good quotes.
Like, he's such an easy writer to read. Like, some of his sentences are like poetry. And you reread them, you're like, fuck, that was... He had it. He was a writer.
He was like a rock star writer.
He was.
Cool, man.
I love the quote, for every instance of beauty, many souls must be trampled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He had a lot of shit like that,
Yeah, he did. Have you watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
No.
That will be your thing tonight. Have you got any?
Yeah, you got to watch it.
I don't.
It's great.
Hanging to get some.
But Fear and Loathing is great, man. It's Johnny Depp does a good job on it. Is there any? Can I have one of those? Oh, beautiful.
You just opened that one, did you?
We're in Canada.
America.
Oh, Canada, eh?
Blame Canada.
Beer of the week, Molson's Canadian Lager.
Lager.
It's not a bad one.
Oh,
something different this week.
It did smell a little bit like fish, which...
That was from my fingers. And not for the reasons you'd think. And I'd hope they wouldn't smell like fish anyway, if it was for those reasons.
You're eating some fish.
I was actually eating fish on the way here in the car.
What, at home? Did you catch a fish or did you go to fish and chip shop?
Em's bloody dad's a mad fisherman, so
oh yeah,
I think he's just
we've been stuck on that Alone series. Have you watched that? Where they get people, give them a fish hook and stick them out in the bush, and they say, "Fucking there you go."
My old man's right into that at the moment.
It is really. I would like to try it.
Do you know what? What's fucked up though? It's like they're in a place that's got no food.
So
like some of the guys are like, "Oh, I fish every day. I'm really good at it, and I can't catch shit."
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
and they lose it.
The thing is, there's bears and cougars and shit around. It's really weird.
There's one coming up, and a certain person we won't talk about. This dude, he ended up shooting a wolverine with a fucking bow and arrow. But he goes, the hardest thing was fucking trying to film it as he was.
Oh, I listened to that.
So they had to film it at the same time.
They're filming themselves while though. Yeah. So it was taking his food and shit.
Yeah, it kept stealing.
Yeah, and he had to set the camera up and little signaling things. So as it crept through, it would like rattle something. Yeah. That'd alarm him to get out and get ready.
Because it did it a few times. Like it was coming every night and smashing his food.
So he ate the wolverine.
I don't know if he ended up eating it.
He probably would have.
Probably, I would.
Pretty fucking strong
animal. What did he get? Did he get a
deer? I think.
Yeah, and just heaps of the fat.
Was it him that said he got bailed up by a bear, or was that another guy?
I can't remember, man.
Oh,
no, that was another guy recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a while ago.
He was eating a sandwich and he turned around as a fucking bear, big grizzly or some shit.
Fuck those grizzlies. Have you seen The Grizzly Man?
Nah.
Oh, that's another one you got to watch, man. It's this guy, and he's from California, and he goes and every year he goes up, hangs with the Grizzlies, and he do school talks about him and the Grizzlies, and he cuddle the Grizzlies and shit like this. And then at the end, the Grizzly fucking ate him.
Of course,
fucking ate him. And but the fucking Grizzly's head's like the size of this table, like it's fucking huge. Yeah. And he's got his little girlfriend there saying, "Look, there's a grizzly bear." And luckily they didn't show it at the end. It's a great documentary because it's really well done, and the guy. Werner Herzog, the guy that is the director of it, is like the best director. And so he lets the guy just talk. And it's all done from his own footage, but it's not over the top with narration and all that. They just let this thing play out. And at the end, when he gets eaten, they don't show it. But
they got the sound clip.
They got the sound.
I've heard of that.
But evidently, his girlfriend had just broken up with him, said, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Let's get out of here. They're waiting for the plane to turn up, and this fucking hungry grizzly comes and gets them. Spoiler. But it's still worth watching. But she didn't fucking run, man. And good on this guy. Like, he, evidently on the tape, because you don't hear it, but you hear someone talking about it. He says, fucking run, run, run. He's telling her to get out. Yeah. And she fucking gets a frying pan and hits the grizzly with a frying pan, you know.
Wow.
Fuck.
Like, she's decent then. Good shit.
Yeah, she was good shit, you know, but fucking she should have, like, that's nature versus us. We're not that. Nah. There's no wrestling a lion or any shit like
There's
that.
There's some tough people out there, but
yeah.
There was a story I heard a long time ago about this woman that got attacked by a grizzly and it nearly killed her. So she went back when she recovered and hunted that fucking grizzly down and killed it and ate it.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did it get back?
How's it
the rematch.
Ate the whole. Imagine if it was the wrong grizzly.
Yeah, it probably was the wrong grizzly. That's the most amazing one. I have to check it out. Yeah, maybe afterwards we can put a link to it. There's a Russian guy last year fucking got attacked by a grizzly bear. It dragged him to the cave. What it does, it likes keeping its meat fresh and it wasn't hungry. So it got him, broke his legs, fucking dragged him to the cave and kept him alive at the back of the cave to eat him at a later date. 6 fucking weeks. He was at the back of the cave before his mates came and found him.
Really?
And he got rescued.
He got fucking rescued and this bear was just looking, I'm going to eat him. I'm going to eat you soon. Imagine that.
Is that on YouTube or something?
Oh, my brother was telling me about it. Yeah, it's a story from last year, man.
If I can find it, I'll put it in.
Yeah, put it in. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fuck, how hardcore is that?
Bro, imagine how traumatised you'd be. 6 weeks in a cave with a grizzly bear with broken legs.
Just going in.
He's Russian, he'll be alright.
Oh, man.
Today the day?
Speaking of Russians.
Fucking crazy,
man. Remember young Misha from the gym?
Yeah.
He showed me a photo one time. So his parent, I think his dad might be Russian or something. They went over there when they were kids, and they were out in this remote village, and there was this bear going around like just fucking. I think it was killing people and shit. And anyway, they went out and the village like hunted it. This thing's head was like, it was the biggest bear I've ever seen. Put it next to it like this mini little truck. It was like the size of that. Its head must have been like, I don't know.
It's a photo.
He's got a photo of the
Fucking
bear
hell,
after
yeah.
they killed it. It was the biggest fucking thing I've ever seen, man. They must have been in like Chernobyl or something. Where it's like
it's getting like all the nuclear
radiation.
It was
man.
massive, man, and it was in a real remote place. It was just terrorizing them, and they ended up getting it. But like, you see it next to this little truck, and it's fucking. Man, it was the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and I imagine living in those places.
Well, there's another good documentary by the same guy. It's called A Year in the Taiga. The taiga's the main forest in Siberia. And it just follows this Russian hunter guy, and he gets those... the pouch that they use for fine ladies' coats and that. I can't remember the name of it. It's a little stoat-looking thing. But it gets minus 40 and 50. And he's by himself and is like surrounded by 1,000 miles of nothing. And it's just following him and how they live in Siberia. And it's hardcore, man. Yeah. But the most poignant part of this doco, and he wants to go home for Christmas. It's Christmas, and the home's like 250 miles or something away. And he's got this dog with him. And he gets on a sled and he just goes down to the river because the river's all frozen, and he's going to go 250 miles, whatever it is that way. I'm not sure exact, but it's fucking far. And the dog runs. And the documentary he's filming it, and he goes, okay, well, you might put the dog on the sled. 100 miles later, fucking dog's still running hardcore after the sled. 200 fucking miles, man. And this dog is still going and happy as fuck. It is. Dogs are mental. Wow. And then he gets home, and the dog not allowed inside, mate, straight under the house. Like, fucking hardcore. And like
ultra endurance
athletes. Those dogs, man.
Oh, shit.
So wild. That book I'm reading on Mawson.
Oh, yeah.
They took like 85 dogs to Antarctica. And
was it Charles Mawson? What's his name?
Henry Mawson?
Australian adventurer guy.
Yeah, so it's called Mawson.
Yeah.
And I'm like 90 pages in, and it's just an introduction still.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, before Mawson goes there, the first kind of party to actually land there was like Shackleton and these other British guys. Yeah. And they'd set out to see how far they could go kind of thing. And they took like 85 dogs with them. And on the last stretch, they had 8 dogs left.
Yeah.
And they ended up telling one of the guys, stay here, like, we're just going to walk as far as we can and then come back kind of thing. Yeah. So out of 85, like, 8 dogs lived.
Oh, fucking that awesome. But I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's some parts in that book where everyone's fucking dead and he's on his way back and he's just going to die, you know. So what he does, and there's crevasses, like 100 miles of crevasses, and you can't see them. Snow, you think it's fucking fine. You put your foot down and you're down. You're dead. Yeah. And so what he did, he ties up a rope to this, and he's towing this canoe behind him, or this sled. He goes, well, if I fall down a crevasse, the sled will come along and hopefully it'll catch. And it fucking happens again and again and again. Oh, so often, man, he's just dangling there over a fucking mile high. Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy
hardcore, you know?
About it? A lot of them like went there and the ships got frozen in.
Yeah.
And they had to stay there for like 12 months.
Till it
got warm enough that the ice could let them go. Because, they were blowing it up with dynamite and that, and it was doing nothing.
Oh, nah.
It's that thick.
You can't be fucking ice with it.
Fuck, man. Like, I've never really looked into Antarctica. Like, watched a couple of penguin shows, Happy Feet. It's all sunny and nice, but it ain't really like that.
But they've found, in their core samples, they've found fucking temperate forests and that in there, eh? Like fucking...
Yeah, there's Antarctica. A volcano going off.
Yeah. Well,
they were talking about... that Shackleton guy's talking about this volcano, like, spewing fucking...
In Antarctica.
Yeah. I never knew any of that shit. There's mountains and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The picture I've got in my head,
iceberg.
That's what I've got in my brain.
No, it's huge, man. It's a continent.
Yeah. It's bigger than 2 Australias.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's fucking...
Which is insane.
Minerals and all this shit down there. There's a whole hidden story of why did Antarctica have rainforests and shit in it, you know? And even...
It was joined to Sydney, wasn't it? Because a lot of the cliffs have been sheared. That's what they say. It's from the Antarctica breaking away. And
there's a weird thing going on. You know how the idea that we're Gondwana land or Pangaea and all that, and you can see how South America kind of fits into Australia and that. You know, you've seen that, and so they fit like that.
Like a
roughly,
jigsaw.
they fit together like a jigsaw. Yeah. An whole planet. But Australia on the other side, on the west coast, actually fits into India. Now, how can it like?
But
how can it be moving away from both of those places at the same time?
Yeah.
Unless the Earth itself is expanding, like it's moving away.
Because they
very
say
strange.
that Aboriginals have Indian DNA. Have you ever seen that documentary?
Oh, no. Well, South America and the Amazon, they've done DNA testing on the original inhabitants of the Amazon, and the only people in the world to have similar DNA are the Aboriginal people of Australia. And the fucking Amazon. So, you know, there's a whole Pandora's box. We'll have to get into another episode.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's like what's the oldest skeleton they've found? Like,
Ooh.
Well, I think it's Africa. Was it Lucy still? It's,
yeah.
Oh, we'll have a look.
you know,
Lucy,
it's probably 2 or
was there
3
another
million.
one? Maybe.
There was one in Australia, man. I want to go down to. We'll have to take the Panda cast down to Mungo, Lake Mungo. Go see Mungo Man and Mungo
Yep,
Lady.
Lucy.
Still Lucy?
Yep. 3.2 million years ago. But they always kind of fuck up the dates, don't they?
Well, I mean,
Well, it's not a perfect science.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
And also,
They-
Lucy is there because she's in the right environment to create a bloody, what do you call those things?
Fossil.
A fossil.
Yeah.
But there's never been a fossil in a rainforest. There's
Yeah.
never been a fossil of a chimpanzee because they live in rainforest and they rot away.
Yeah.
Never fossil, you know, like, so.
yeah, and it needs to be timed right. Like,
Yeah.
if they
It's,
fucking
you gotta,
walk
it's
to the
just got to be at the
surface
right
too
spot.
early, like, they
So,
get
not to say it's
smashed up.
wrong, but we're not going to get the whole picture like ever.
no
So,
way.
you know, you can only draw some conclusions. But the main thing I think, you know, is we're the only ape to have subcutaneous fat. So we've got fat under the skin, whereas chimpanzees and that don't. Why have we got that? And why did we lose our hair? There's a thing
Yeah, they're
that
so sinewy, aren't they?
yeah, there's a thing that came out in the 60s, an idea, and it got poo-pooed and everyone thought it was shit, that we're the aquatic ape. But now it's come back. So we went to the ocean somewhere and we learnt to swim. That's why babies, you can have a baby underwater and it holds its breath. And all babies know how to swim. Because we actually lost our hair and we got the subcutaneous fat so we can keep warm in the water. So we went somewhere relatively nice where we could swim all the time. You know, maybe Australia, maybe South Pacific, who knows? Like, but not saying it's
Warm
wrong.
island continent somewhere.
Yeah, and somewhere away from predators that are going to fuck you up all the time. But
Away
so
from
exciting.
fucking bears.
Away from fucking bears. They look so cuddly.
They're shit.
Oh, they're shit though.
Fuck them and wolves.
Bears and wolves. Yeah, I was just
They're
about to say.
so interesting, but
Yeah.
from like,
That's why, though.
from another country away. That
Yeah,
how
yeah.
I'd
like,
be shit him.
I
Imagine
love
walking
this-
through the bush and
In fact, if you're going to get eaten, a lion, they fucking break your neck and you're done. At least they kill you
Yeah.
first. All those other
See,
animals
They're
just
just
fucking-
ripping at you.
They eat you.
Yeah.
snakes. I don't like snakes. They're
Yeah,
cunts.
but you know, we don't have to see them too much. We don't have big giant.
funny being in
fucking
Australia, you
anacondas.
don't-
No,
Just
but
see
we see
snakes.
browns a lot.
Yeah, I guess.
Browns are everywhere, and they're
I can't say.
aggressive.
I actually can't say I've ever seen one. Maybe once actually when I was about 11.
I've seen
Well,
maybe
you work
belly
in the
button
pest, there'll be
snakes.
heaps
Yeah.
up there, eh?
Yeah, at Wongawilli there's been a few. There was one that bit a guy's boot as he walked, say, in the store. It's all dark. It's middle of the night. And he's come into the store and seen this. He thought it was a hose
Yeah.
just laying across the walkway. So he stood on it. And we got like long gum boots up to your knees kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the snake's turned around and gone him. And he's kind of seen it
that.
and jumped back like that. Like, fuck. And the snake's
Just
gone his
Keanu
boot.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Matrix stuff.
Like he goes, it hit me boot like 5 times as he was in the air.
Lucky.
And
Yeah.
There's so many stories about that. They reckon it's the same snake. It's like super pissed off.
Just comes back.
Yeah. And another time I was in Byron Bay.
Bloody Mary.
We're going to this caravan park, and out the front are these 3 guys with big long pool tools, like trying to scare this brown snake away.
And it just
And it was going like, it'd go a little bit and then go, oh, fuck you. And come back. So I go, they're like fucking in there and shit. Fucking
Shit.
get away. But yeah,
fucking hell.
fucking brown snakes.
How do we get up to brown snakes? Where are we?
Fuck
Uh,
that.
animals
We went
and
on a
shit.
little like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, polar bears and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
know,
most
yeah.
animals, but
Yeah, I like animals too, but
You're
from
gonna stay
afar.
away from afar. Fucking sharks will fuck me
Yeah,
up.
they-
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, I'm
worst
not
thing I ever
interested in
did was
that.
go dive with great
Great
whites.
whites. Did you do that? Yeah.
I used to love surfing, but I was always in, like, fucking sharks.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
you see something like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I decided to go diving with these great whites, and now I won't even go in the ocean.
I don't blame you, man. I'm so
To be-
scared of it now.
Because they were feeding them right next to us, like, to see that mouth open, you know, like from me to the wall away.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's too much.
Can you
it's
imagine
like,
looking
fuck
down and
that,
seeing
man.
that shit coming at you?
The teeth.
Fuck.
And they're
that.
they're as fat as
They're
this
just
table,
so
like that
big.
wide.
Yeah.
We seen 6 in that same day.
I'm just like, I don't need to be in the water anymore.
Nah.
Really. I'll go in the pool.
Yeah.
What was that? Remember when Andy Irons got fucking...
Was it Mick Fanning?
Or the
Yeah,
McFanning,
Mick
Mick Fanning,
yeah.
in South Africa. And then he came out, the first thing he said when he came out the water is that's it. I'm fucking done.
I would have too. No.
It's been fun, but I think he's back in the water now.
Yeah, yeah.
But it'll never be the same for him, I don't think.
Yeah. I remember paddling over the river at Minamara to Mystics as a teenager, just going... It's like whenever the tide was up a bit, by myself in the morning, just going, fucking hell. There's a bit where the river drops off, and it was dark, and I'd just be like, bull sharks. And I couldn't even look at the water in the end. I was just hoping for the best. I never saw nothing.
No, you never do. It's just in your head. And
I think
I watched Jaws as a kid.
We did.
Did you ever watch Jaws when? Everyone did as a kid.
Like
stupid.
Yeah, but then there's a lady that went for a morning swim down fucking Jervis Bay or something. Got eaten. Fucking actually eaten.
I know. Most times you hear about it now, so you know.
Well, I think there are more attacks now. I think there's a lot more fishing going on out.
Heaps more people on the coast, maybe.
Maybe less fertile oceans for.
Yeah, we're kind of
fishing all their food, maybe.
Fishing it all out.
Then you see some crazy videos where there's surfers in the water and they just fucking like cruise past like 20 metres out. Like,
did you see the orcas? There was
the orcas fucked the great whites up.
But there was a chick swimming. Pretty sure it was a chick. Yeah, and they were just swimming right next to her like for ages.
Checking her out, stayed with her, but because she stayed so calm. Well, that's what the video was saying. That's one of those stupid ones. But
we're not as afraid of orcas as we are of great whites. Orcas are way more powerful.
Shitless if I saw that. Then motherfuckers drown you. They drown. Then they get onto the icebergs and get seals and shit.
They do.
Bring them in.
Remember they drowned that guy at Dreamworld or whatever? Oh, it wasn't Dreamworld. Somewhere in America.
It was
SeaWorld.
It wasn't SeaWorld, but it was similar. I know that. I heard the story.
And the trainer, just fucking drowned.
They were treating him like shit. That was the story. They were treating the orca like shit for a long time.
And he got its revenge back.
Kind of,
Yeah, so fuck this. Well, they got big brains. The brains are bigger than ours.
Or something, like,
they definitely fucking do. Elephants do. Like we know animals have feelings. We just don't like talking about it because we like eating steak, But
like your dog,
they
know what's going on.
They
trouble. They
do.
Cower. That was one of the stories actually out of that back to Antarctica for a second. But so there was a captain and he was fucked up with scurvy, and they're like, "Fuck, he needs meat like right now." This dog started barking, so he got some meat.
Oh man,
but they ended up naming the guy's dog. They ended up naming the penguin, after this dude's dog. Yeah.
Speaking of penguins,
after the dude or something.
There's this this is the third Werner Herzog movie, so you got to check him out. And he did this one about Antarctica. I can't remember the name of it. And all his movies are really poignant. You end up crying. Well, I fucking do at all his movies because he just gets right to the...
Matt's a cry.
The humour. Well, I never was, but fucking something happened. Anyway, and he follows these penguins.
30s test is dropping.
There's emperor penguins. There's fucking hundreds of them. They're all going off to the ocean, and all the male penguins are there around their eggs and shit, keeping them warm. And so he's following, and they hit this mountain, and so all the penguins are going that way to get to the ocean. And there's fucking hundreds of them all going, and then one penguin stops, and you see the fucking thing look at everyone else going that way, and it turns the other way, and it goes, and there's all this mountain range there, and it says, I'm going that way. It fucking just turns around and walks that way. Yeah. And they follow this fucking penguin for a mile or so, and it's walking to its death. Like, there's no fucking ocean there.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yes, soul penguin, man. It's a penguin that just
Isn't that what just wanted out?
He just wouldn't go, not going to follow the crowd.
With the crowd.
Maybe he just wanted to die, because they say that's what seagulls do. They fly out to the ocean to die.
Really? Just keep going?
Yeah, they just fly out and...
Yeah, I worked with a French restaurant once, and next door was a really cheap, Chinese restaurant. I remember one afternoon, Saturday night, it was a busy night, the boss used to pull out the whiskey and stuff like that, and I was like 17, so I'd get hammered. It'd be 8 o'clock in the morning, we'd leave. And one morning, I remember coming out to the big waste bins and chucking rubbish bin in there, and it was just full of seagull feathers.
What the fuck? What was in there? Chicken?
Yeah, that's right. It was $2 all you can eat. Yeah. So I was having seagulls,
Fuck.
But a seagull was still a bird,
fucking hell.
That's pretty rough.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I remember working up in the city, when I was about 16, and you could smell. It smelled like burnt dog fur. You know what I mean? Like, not that I know.
We're opening up a can of worms.
Yeah, it's a can of worms. Yeah. Someone ate my brother's Rottweiler once. He found his paws.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was in South Auckland. Yeah, found their fucking paws, man.
Yeah. See, I draw the line at that.
Yeah, but why
You
do
can't
we?
go eating dogs.
I know dogs are friends to us and all. Is it because the dog's got personality?
Just think
Speaking of
that-
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, kind of.
Personality goes like, well, if a pig had a better personality,
Oh, that's a sick movie. But I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
it'd have to be one motherfucking charming pig.
Royale with cheese.
Yeah, the whole weird eating things. But it's got to be done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Had a piss break.
What are we talking about? We were just discussing Mark Hunt, who was my favourite UFC fighter until Brosnick, the steroid junkie, fucking humped him. And what's his name?
Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar,
Is that like a combination of both of them?
Yeah, you combine it. He was like 50 kilos heavier than the motherfucker, and all he did was just run on him.
No,
and
you know
hug
the
him.
worst thing?
Yeah.
He come from WWE, juiced out of his head.
it's just
He's been hanging out in Mexico for like a year, just taking whatever they
and
give
he was
him.
juiced up. And admittedly, Mark Hunt said, I'll smack him in the face anyway. But still, it's supposed to be a professional sport.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
bullshit.
like, it's fucking
It
bullshit.
was wrong what they did because he never went through the 3 month, or is it 6 months maybe, USADA train, piss tests and all that shit.
Yeah.
And
He
look,
never
just the
got that.
size of them. Like, they were two different fucking divisions. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on
Heavyweight and
there?
heavyweight.
Yeah.
It's just a joke.
And Lesnar come back looking better than he did when he left the UFC.
Yeah.
And Mark just looks like a guy in a South Auckland pub. you
You know,
like,
you know the best one
I like
I
him 'cause he's just a
remember?
geezer,
Yeah,
you know?
I like Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
Him and Roy Nelson, I used to like Big Country.
Yeah, because he's fat.
That huge overhand. Remember he hit fucking Stefan Struve with a big overhand right and dropped. You know that massive lanky 7 foot.
Yeah.
Dropped him like a bag of shit. It was like he was playing cricket and he was a fast bowler. It was just like knocked him dead.
It's funny. It'd be like interesting just because of the age. Like, to be honest,
We're talking about Mark
Hunt and Gallen. Yeah.
and Gallen.
But-
Paul Gallen, who people don't know is a rugby league player, was a rugby league player over here in Australia.
For all our international viewers.
Yeah.
Yes.
The,
Is he a
2.5 years.
What's the age difference? I thought they'd be similar ages, wouldn't they?
Oh, I mean, they're probably, I don't know. Gower wouldn't be as old as Hunt, I don't think.
No, I think they're around the same age.
Are they?
Pushing 40,
I don't
surely.
really know. Like, I think Mark Hunt's like 44 or 45.
Oh, is he? But boxers can't go on for some reason. They can't. Well, he was originally a boxer, wasn't he, Mark Hunt?
No, he's a kickboxer.
Kickboxer.
Oh, was he?
He won the
Kickboxer.
K1 tournament.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He can fight.
Yeah, he's tough
And
as
he's had a
nails.
life in fighting. You don't buy that. Like, it doesn't... Like, I've seen Gallen spar and stuff a few times. And to be honest, for a footy
Mark Hunt's
player...
46.
He's 46, yeah. He's pretty... He's
Okay,
getting on.
wow.
Yeah. For a guy that's transitioned, like, he's not too bad.
Yeah.
And he's getting better, but it's like... I don't know.
It's a different world. This guy's a seasoned professional.
He's
isn't he?
lived
Yeah.
it. He's lived in the
I would have
game
liked
for
to
so
see
long.
Sonny Bill and him have a
That'd
bit
be
of
more-
And
that'd be-
is that
yeah.
Sonny Bill and...
and Gallen.
Yeah, okay.
Sonny Bill, like...
Is he actually a
was-
decent boxer?
Well, he wasn't, like...
Was he really
overly
slow?
bad.
I've only seen one or two of his fights, and I don't
I don't know.
remember
Like, I
anything
don't know. This is a
happening.
hard question to ask me because I don't want to just smash them because they're coming over from something completely different and they still have some success. Like, not all... You know, a lot of them come in and fight nobody.
Yeah,
But like Sonny Bill, even though he beat an old Francis Botho, he still beat Francis Botho. It was legitimate.
Well, I was watching the Francis Botha Mike Tyson fight. That was a good fight. Like, that guy can fight, and he took Tyson on in his prime.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they might have cut the rounds to 2 minutes or something at
Oh,
certain
did they?
times, but
Yeah.
still, like, it's a big thing to take on completely different sport. You know, when you're still
Yeah,
killing
it
it
is.
in something else,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pick it
And
up.
he went to
you know,
Union
it's
at the
something-
same time,
Oh, he's
didn't
done
he?
Yeah.
Union and League.
Yeah.
And,
And he
No,
wasn't too
back.
bad at Union, was
No,
he?
he was all right, man. Union's you need a different skill set, but he didn't go badly. Like, he was all right, man. You know.
Yeah, so
And he's handsome.
Like, look, I'm going to say.
And he's handsome.
I don't. He's a fucking rig.
He might not want to stay in boxing.
Some of them
There's not too many people stay as handsome as you in boxing.
I think there's plenty actually. But I don't know. I'm gonna say Hunt because he's lived
live the life, you
Yeah,
reckon?
but I really like. I've interacted with Gal a few times. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
From what I know, I don't follow footy at all, so I don't know nothing about that side of things.
Yeah.
But and his coach Graham Shaw is a good coach, and he's really.
Is he making a go of this, or is this just for charity or something? Is it, or is this a
he's
second?
having a crack? Like,
Because there was a thing back. I watched some
really
fights
looked into it.
they had in New Zealand a while ago, and it was like union versus league players boxing matches.
Yeah, okay.
And some of the matches were fucking really good, man. They had Willie Mason versus this Kiwi guy, and Willie wasn't a bad boxer, but the best one was two Kiwis. One was league player Jared McCracken versus Jared McCracken versus, and he was always a bluer on the field. He's a tough nut. Versus Carlos Spencer, who was like one of my favourite rugby union players of all time.
Yeah.
But Carlos is just bulked out, and Carlos fucking looked like he could box. Like, well, maybe we can put a link up to this, man. It's a really good match. And Jared's just a bluer, and it's a brutal fight. They
always have a crack. Yeah. Even on the amateur club versus club nights, like they like white collar type nights, where you see some of the football clubs match up against each other. Like they're shit. They got no skills, but they just jump in there. They're tough boys and they just punch on. They're always heaps entertaining. So when you bring that to this arena, it's a little different. But Gal's like actually learning to box. Like he's got some sort of skill set. Yeah, I don't know. Like if people saw the Barry Hall thing and it didn't make him. It didn't really showcase. He didn't look as good as I'd seen him before. I'm not saying he's fucking world class or anything, but he's not bad. Like for a guy that's just come into the sport. Yeah, but fucking.
What about?
To be honest, I haven't even watched Mark Hunt much. Because I never used to follow UFC.
Yeah,
I'm only just really looking at it.
I just saw his knockouts, and he just seemed to have a really nice fucking
But
punch,
what I do know,
he took a lot of shots.
And he's tough.
He's tough as nails.
But I just know them guys can punch, man. All the Islander guys, they can bang. And they usually got good chins, and he's lived a whole life in combat. And it's just something that people don't appreciate it, experience enough these days. And
so he's not freaked out.
Are you picking Hunt?
I'll pick Hunt. Yeah.
What about Kell Brook and Crawford?
Kell Brook and Crawford. Crawford's a beast, bro. That's what he is. He's a throwback, like old school. Doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Can switch both, like can fight out of either stance really well. Yeah. He's aggressive, but has mad boxing skill. He can get in a scrap if he needs to, and he can be classy if he needs to. So, and Kell Brook can fight, man. Like probably been overlooked a little in this fight. The only issues, like maybe where he's at in his career in terms of, I think they're around the same age, but like Kell's maybe on the downside of his best years, whereas Crawford's in the fucking peak of them. And like his people didn't seem to have much confidence in him. He's had to change teams to get the fight.
No.
But getting down to welterweight again. This guy can fight. Kell Brook was a beast, and then he went from welterweight or junior welter and took on Gennady Golovkin when Golovkin was like the middleweight king, killing everyone. And he did well again. He was hitting Golovkin with good shots, like outboxing him probably. Yeah. It's just that Golovkin caught up with him eventually and broke his freaking orbital bone. And fucked him up, and then he went back down to welter and fought Errol Spence next, who's another killer.
I remember that fight.
And again, he was probably winning, and then it started shifting, but he got hurt again. Like I think his orbital bone got shattered again because it was an old injury or whatever. Something happened in that fight. So, I mean, Spence didn't even beat the best version of him. He needed longer to heal, I'd say. But he seems to be hungry, and he just wants to have a good last dig at his. I think he'll do pretty well. Yeah, it'll be a good fight, I reckon. But I think Crawford will come out on top. Yeah, I don't know what result by. I think by point. Because if Golovkin's not getting you out of there, no matter if you're worn out, as long as he's still hungry, which I feel like with that opportunity he would be, because it's Crawford. One of the biggest names in the sport. It's one of the best pound for pound. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a good fight. And then my buddy, like one of the boys I went to Commonwealth Games with, Andy Maloney, he went there and won gold the year that we went. And he was like probably the most complete boxer on the team. He was He's always like a standout all-round guy. He won the WBA title in Australia and then went over, and this is the guy that he lost his first defence against. He's got a rematch with him. So I think he was up in the first fight, and then just on the back end of it, he had 2 perforated eardrums.
Oh, shit.
I think there was some other injury throughout the fight, and he still managed to get through, and I think it was still close on the scorecards. Like the back end of the fight, he was under some pressure, and old mate, I think even maybe put him down.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what my memory's like, man. I can't. But I'm really hoping Andy comes away with the win on that one.
You picking Andy then?
I'm going to pick him.
Yeah, you got to take the Aussie.
And I'd never back
pick against him.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, you got to send the good energy out. But he can box.
Yeah.
He got good skills, and I feel like if he's switched on and he's recovered and he goes into it, he seems to have had a real good preparation, and he'll be hungry, man. So I'm going to back him.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Oh, and we got big female card, but I can't even remember who Katie Taylor's fighting. But
you'll be backing her then.
I'll be backing Katie.
Yeah, you got a little bit.
Yeah. A little boxing crush on Katie Taylor,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he's mentioned.
So yeah, pretty big weekend.
There's a lot of boxing going on.
But it's about fucking time, man. Because the COVID thing hit, and UFC was cranking out all these good fights, and boxing was putting on these fucking shit matches of just their stars
for a long
sparring. Time. And then all of a sudden, the last maybe month, we've had a bunch of good fights. It's good.
When's Fury going to fight again, do you think?
I think they're looking at December sometime.
Tony?
No, Josh has got to fight a mandatory.
He's
got to fight a mandatory against Kurbat. I don't know how to say his name. It's standard episode stutters. I have no fucking idea how to say his name. Pulev is his last name. He's like a Bulgarian, but he's been mandatory for a while, so he's got to get rid of that.
Because Joshua hasn't fought since Rumours 2.
No, where he put on a boxing lesson. That
he did put on a lesson, but it wasn't exciting.
Definitely, it's not standard Josh, but to come straight back from like this devastating loss. Where you're getting concussed and knocked out. I
like that Ruiz too.
Yeah,
he just doesn't look the part, does he?
That's why I liked him.
But you don't get close to him because he's a fucking fast
man. But this is what I'm talking about having a life in the sport. Like, he's been boxing since he was like 5 or 6 years old. You just get a different skill set. Like the experience comes in. Like, you can have all the talent in the world, and that, like, some guys that'll get through. But if you got like that with that experience, and there's just a different element of craft that comes into play.
Yeah. I think it comes with everything too,
it's the little intricacies that people don't understand.
And it's kind of like you make the job easier for yourself because you know it. You know what I mean?
It's so amazing with that physique. He could go like 12 rounds.
Did you hear what he said?
Didn't look fit,
he goes. Crazy. He said on something that he's like, "I'm trying to get sponsored by Snickers." About his body and that.
He would have had a few after he beat Josh.
I think he did.
Shit,
yeah. I've been having a few too many Snickers too. But
that's what happens.
That's retirement life.
That's life.
Yeah.
I just realised that the Tyson fight, I think, is on my wedding anniversary. So rather than going to Sydney and going out to a nice restaurant, I might get Hayley in here to
call the fight.
For us,
I think we should get her on.
I will definitely get her on.
Yeah.
But
she needs to come on.
I'm worried about that fight, actually. Like, I don't want them to get hurt.
I
really don't want Roy Jones Jr. to get knocked out, or Tyson.
It's cool cats.
Who are you picking in that?
I'm really bummed that they're both doing it.
I just don't even like the whole thing.
No,
really.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I
don't want Tyson, even if he knocks it, I don't want Tyson to be that aggressive asshole again.
No, he was so much cooler. He needs to get back to smoking weed and chilling.
You know when he was doing hot boxing all the time?
Yeah.
Just be that Tyson.
Yeah. Just that, doesn't matter if you don't fight, you make up your own words and you don't make much sense. But
it's a real shame that
he's happy
after that.
That's right.
After the first Tyson interview on Rogan, on what's his name, the man that's showing up my name. The next interview was Dr. Phil, and they were talking about Tyson. And Dr. Phil, being a psychologist and all that, and Rogan said, "Oh well, I just had Tyson on here, but he's not into that anymore, man. Like, he's just mellowed out." And Dr. Phil saying, he's rubbing his chin, going, "You think so? You think, or do you think he's just a bit worried that he's not as good as he'll ever as he was, and he could never be that good again.
Fuck, that could have
And
sparked a
he-
bit of ego right
Maybe
there.
watched that and saw it, but
Fuck
because
you, Dr. Phil.
Cash me outside. How about that?
otherwise Dr.
How
Phil
about that?
just called it absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that mellow cat, and everything
know-
was sweet. It
Yeah,
was,
well,
Did you
but don't
guys
forget
see-
that Tyson lost a daughter, man. He's been
Yeah.
through tragedy, eh?
Did you guys see the, Smart Cups, how they've kind of gone on board with him? Have you seen Smart Cups on
No,
Instagram?
what is
So-
a smart cup, man?
Fuck no.
Has it
Who
got a
cares?
straight-
It had Tyson.
Is it 5G, man? It's fucking
Yes.
Smack Panda mode, is it?
Yeah, they're going on sale for about $89.95.
I'll have a website in 2 weeks.
So anyway, so Smart Cup had Vitor Belfort, MMA legend, Kurt Angle, and a few other guys. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to name them all, but and they were all sort of punching the pads and fucking around and shit, talking about Smart Cup. But then Tyson got in there, and it was like a different camera crew shot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
He looked bad. He looked real bad.
What do you mean, like bad punching?
Yeah.
Like
He
good,
looked
bad.
old.
Did he look old?
He looked old.
Well, he's fucking
I
old.
know he's old, but
what
you
are
know-
people are gonna expect to see?
And that's cool, but remember we were talking the other
Was
week
this the new Tyson
about
or
the
the
way
old
they
Tyson?
filmed
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
They filmed him to look a certain way, and it's shot perfectly because it makes him look ferocious. The way
The shaking.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
fuck, he's an animal.
Yeah.
He's still got it. But this is like a static camera shot, and he was throwing these uppercuts, and oh fuck, it was like
Oh, really?
yeah.
That was only
But
recently, was it?
Yeah, but he could have
I
been
think-
just on an off day. Like,
I think that's a.
you
But
can't
imagine
look
if he gets
into it.
knocked out by Roy Jones Jr. and like, dude,
Yeah,
you got-
that's gonna wreck his whole fucking business model now, I reckon. People would be like, what the
Why would we go to the Mellow Pot Ranch and end up being all ego freaks again?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I hope he does.
I hope he
Knock him
does get
out?
knocked out.
No, go back to being just a
I just want him to
Oh, yeah.
hanging out at the ranch.
He needs to
Like,
go.
I never really dug
That's the
him,
best
like,
thing.
you know, after all the biting and shit, but then the person he turned into was a wonderful man. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, I like that.
Do you read
person.
his book?
Yeah.
No, I saw the doco. I thought the Tyson doco was
I
excellent.
like the
Yeah.
He was high as fuck when he was in there.
Was he?
Yeah,
okay.
it was interesting.
I like the
listening to him talk.
Customato book. That was
I didn't read
that was a good read.
He's got some.
Iron-
Who else did
Big
Customato have? Was it just Mike Tyson?
No,
or-
yeah,
Patterson.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He was like a heavyweight. He was really a light heavyweight, but he was heavyweight champion at one point. I don't know who else he had. He had a few guys. I think,
No one as high a caliber as that, but like
Floyd. Yeah, nah.
no
I
world
think-
champions really.
I think there was someone else. Let me think. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not there.
Yeah.
I searched it, and the library was just empty. It was like fucking 3 shots. Like, maybe forget that.
Yeah, Google fucking failed.
Yeah.
Fucking
So what were you talking about just on that little wee break? We'll have to go back to
What
that.
were we talking about, man? Yeah, rewind the tape. There was something. There was about psychology. There was actually about crying as a man. Or was it-
Yeah, well, like, what
Oh,
the
fuck.
fuck? I mean,
Well, what's going on?
Yeah,
well, we're
why
talking
was it
about
emotional?
trying to think your way through problems.
Yeah.
As you've got a situation going on in your head, you don't even know what it is. You just don't feel good. And then everything's going fine for you in your life. And you think, fucking, well, I need to think my way through. Everything's going fine. Your subconscious doesn't give a fuck that everything's going fine.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. Hey, you know,
knows
like it.
knows
What do you
it's
mean?
buried.
Like, so you got an issue
Well,
and you think your way through it? I don't think
like
I've
it,
ever done that.
Well, you think everything's
Oh, it's
you're
like
being stupid.
processing,
Fucking,
yeah.
you got great kids, you got a great
Yeah.
wife, everything's sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you fucking freaking out?
Or like, even
know.
if you learn
I
to
don't.
like, if you've gone through something and you learn to like decipher it intellectually, process it, like break it down and understand it, doesn't mean that. I used to think that sorted the issue out and it was just gone and done. But then, like, lately I'm having all this shit come back that I thought I've already dealt with.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's like, and it just catches you like at any time. It just fucking pulls you back in.
Yeah.
And you're depressed. And I'm like, fuck, this is stupid. Because
So it's not dealt
like,
with.
man, I was laying on
Yeah.
a trampoline today, and I'm like, my kids are playing. M's on the tramp. And I'm fucking sad. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
It should be the happiest time in your life.
Yeah,
eh?
and I'm
This-
trying to,
yeah.
and I'm consciously knowing, like, just be present, like, because this is a fucking good time.
Yeah.
But it's like that trauma that happens when you're young. If it, like, it just doesn't fuck
What are you,
off.
like, thinking maybe it's going to turn bad at some time or
man.
something?
It's
or?
nothing to do with that. It's just
But
pain
those
that
emotions
comes from
aren't
somewhere.
aren't regulated to the actual situation.
Nah.
Your emotional state should be
Joy.
regulated to
Yeah.
fucking joy, you know, but it's not. And that's where you can get into drug addiction and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because you think, fuck, if I do this, I'll have a couple of scotches. I'll be fucking sweet. I'll play with the kids and be great.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done that, you know.
Yeah, I don't do that now at all.
Yeah.
But, you know, and
Get a
that's
bit
what I was
higher
talking
and give extra cuddles.
So I was talking about this book I'm reading by a guy called Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Fuck.
He's a motherfucking amazing cat, man. He's a video director. He directed these surrealist, psychedelic movies. John Lennon's favourite movie was El Topo, which is by Jodorowsky. And I knew Jodorowsky. I first discovered this cat in the 90s when I was a little stoner idiot. And Nirvana were out and all this, and then I went to a local video store, which you guys probably won't even know what a video store is anymore. If
Video Easy.
Video Easy, things like that, but they don't exist anymore anyway.
No.
So anyway, so you go pick a movie, and there was this one movie there, and I looked at the back cover, and it had a picture of this guy looks like Jesus, and but he was nailed to a cross, and then there's all these geese falling on his head. And I'm like, fuck, this is the movie for me, you know? What the fuck's going on here? And the movie just was 1,000 times weirder than that.
Yeah.
There's Alejandro Jodorowsky, you know? So his movies are, if you don't want to take drugs, watch his movies, you know? Like, they are fucking stunning. Just as pieces, all his movies could be in a museum, you know, as pieces of visual art. They're fucking wild.
Oh, the cinematography's...
The cinematography is
really
amazing, but just the imagination to come up with these scenes, like, oh my... What's going on? He's got a thing. He grew up in a circus, so all his movies has little people like dwarves and tattooed women and bearded ladies, and like one of the scenes there's I remember it's from this movie I got when I was a kid, Santa Sagre. And there's a little boy who's the leader of the circus, and the elephant's dying, and he's holding the elephant's trunk, and he's crying his eyes out, saying, "Please don't die." And then the elephant's fucking out of the trunk comes like 1,000 liters of blood spraying all over the fucking kid and shit. Like it's wild, man.
Sounds like Evil Dead.
Yeah, but it's not done in a horror way. It's done in, like, the mood is soft violins. Like, it's a fucking trip, man. Anyway, so I've got his book. It's called Psychomagica. And after he did his movies, he started using the idea of surrealist art to help people in their psychological problems, like problems where their emotions aren't fitting with the situation.
Okay.
And so what he does basically is try to... Rather than studying someone's dreams, because, you know, dreams are weird, you can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
he actually figured out the dream language. And so he gets you to retrofit physical actions to talk to the subconscious. You know, like you've always had a problem with your mum and dad and shit like that. So buy, you know, 4 gigantic pumpkins and take them to a certain church at a certain time and put your parents' photos on each of those pumpkins and get a sledgehammer and smash the motherfucking pumpkins. You know, and then take the seeds from those pumpkins, go back to your original home and bury those seeds and grow a pumpkin garden out of those seeds. So out of this destruction of your the psyche which is damaged, you now grow something fruitful. And all those things have this new life idea, and it's not something to think through. You know, like he's talking straight to the subconscious, like which is what art is supposed to do. Yeah, you know, poetry is not supposed to make sense. It speaks to something below the consciousness, and so I'm halfway through the book, and it's fantastic. You know, and I'm getting a buzz from it, and I think it might help situations like that. I've got a few friends that are psychologists, and they're all really logical, man. And I think
we're more complicated than that. I think, to try and like it can't be that black and white, otherwise it'd be easy to work.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
and I feel like I'm pretty self-aware, but my fucking everything's complicated.
Well, I think I'm like look at Western, like my nose. Fucking is a classic example, okay? Your nose is a bit fucked, it's to the side and you can't breathe properly. Right, we'll get a chisel, we'll fucking smack that motherfucker, make it straight.
That sounds simple, but
this
it's not.
This is Western medicine. You know, it's battlefield medicine. You know, get your arm cut off, we'll fucking cauterize it, you'll be all right. You know, we're a machine. You know, the Asian medicines aren't, they're holistic, almost like you're a magnetic field and we need to move parts.
Yeah, you got to reconnect things.
So, not just, we don't have to choose between them.
No,
you know, like integrate.
Integrate them. So
hang out between both.
Whatever feels right for you, but you know when you're not right.
Yeah.
You know, And yes, so like, and more, any knowledge is good, you know, so, and I get a kick about it. And I think what I find of life is it's pretty easy. You just follow what you're interested in. You like cameras?
Yeah.
Fucking start buying cameras. Fucking learn about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Start
where
a
I'm at
podcast,
now. I'm
you know?
like fucking just thinking this whole idea of like being the hardest worker in the room and this and that's all fucking shit.
You'll never
like
be as hard as a robot, mate.
Man.
They'll fucking outwork you.
And it's
you know?
just like you just. I don't know. I'm all about just finding shit that I want to do now and doing that. And then, you know what? Just work out how to make money out of it if I have to.
Yeah.
That sucks, though. The idea that we have to, all our life needs to be pointed towards this angle of earning
Making
fucking money.
money.
Why do we want the
like,
money? Just so we can
fuck.
feed the fucking kids. I don't want to be a billionaire.
We need
It's
universal
not the right way.
income.
Yeah.
Universal income needs
does.
to fucking happen.
Or we just
People will become happier.
need sugar mummies. They're just...
Yeah,
can
we're
get on
later.
that
Well, it's fucking one of them. You got to be a pretty spectacular guy. You already got one.
Give me another 2 years.
Universal income. Well, we need to realise that the earth is abundant, that, you know, our technology is now making it possible for everyone to live really well.
Yeah.
We've just got a psychological problem, and we've got a hiccup from 500 years ago when we had these English lords and ladies that ruled everyone. They still fucking around.
Yeah,
They
fuck
want to
them.
rule everyone.
Yeah.
We don't actually need them.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone,
Fucking
every single
inbred
person could be a
weirdos.
fucking Einstein. Like all these, what I try and, when you're thinking about human society, what's the best human society? One, for me, it's just every kid at preschool could be an Einstein. Let's try and get them all to their potential. And whatever society we choose to have, if it does that and lets these kids fucking have a fair go at everything, then it's a good society. And if it doesn't, if you don't get a good whack at it because your parents aren't rich, well, that society's fucked, man.
Yeah.
Because we're wasting the resource. The only real resource is human intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, and so and Australia's got fucking shitloads of it, man, everywhere.
Yeah.
All these kids could be little geniuses. And they all are. They just get taught they're not.
Yeah.
You know, and they're taught to fucking work in this factory or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we need
programming.
to, we need to appreciate the intellect that we all bring.
Yeah.
And we've got to get rid of the fact, hey man, like fucking, there will be some fuckwits that get wasted. Okay, but we're not going to base our whole society on that, are we? You know, there'll be 1% is always going to be a fuckwit.
Yeah.
But 99%, they won't have to worry about fucking who's going to pay the power bill. Divorces will shrink. And, you know, with a universal income. It doesn't have to be heaps,
yeah.
but just...
Crime will drop.
You know,
Yeah.
Hayley doing her job and shit. It's all money. These fucking families are breaking up because they can't afford the mortgage.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucked.
Yeah, it's just life-based stress putting strain on their
Yeah,
relationship.
a mortgage, they're working for this money
What?
that the fucking banks just invented anyway.
Yeah.
It's not even
It's all
real
horse
money. It's
shit.
all fucking horse shit.
And it's inflated as fuck.
Oh, well,
You can't
why is
tell
the
me
reserve...
a house, a shed in Dapto is not 800,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck off.
Well, why is the Reserve Bank's at
Jesus
0.1%
Christ.
and yet the cheapest fucking loan you can get is 3%? That's like 3,000 times more than the Reserve Bank rate. Why have we even got banks? Why doesn't the government just fucking say, here's the money for your mortgage at 1% interest? Not even 1%. Australia at the moment is 0.1. It's fucking at 0% interest. And yet all of us, let alone if you've got a visa, you got to pay fucking 20% interest on that. It's called interest rate apartheid. So if you're close to the banks, you get fucking low interest rates. You can do whatever you want. If you're down on the ground and you're working, you're a plumber or some shit, you know, you got to pay shitloads of interest. You know, it's not a fair society.
Nah, it's fucked.
It's fucked. But, you know, but the real power lies with the people. That's why there's so much fucking Australia's Got Talent and shit on. Keep people stupid.
Yeah.
Distractions.
Fuck yeah.
Australia does have talent, but it ain't on that fucking show.
Yeah.
It's here at the Smack Panda studio.
Yeah, that's right. Buy a cup.
Or a shirt in 4 weeks.
Yeah. They're about $600 each. Maybe the next batch.
I don't think we'll ever be fucking making money off a clothing line.
No.
We didn't do that the most cost effective.
But, you know,
way.
maybe money won't be a thing. You know, maybe
man.
it's not about money. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just about
and you
putting
know
It's just
what?
about
yourself
having a
out
good time.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
more
yeah.
I look at it, the less. That's why I just am like, fuck, I just want to
man.
find shit that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Fucking,
that's
I've been,
right.
Haley and I think they went out to your mum's for for Rockin's birthday. I was all fucked. I couldn't go, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had a house to myself, you know. I had a teenage girl, but she just sits in a room on her phone, so it's fine. And I'll be watching these Netflix dodgy ass 1980s Chinese comedies. Like, fuck, they are so fucking funny, man. And I watched this one the other day, and it's about this cop, and he's always wanted to be an actor, and he gets an undercover assignment at an acting school, and he's the shittest fucking actor in the world, and it's really funny. But then, and I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of funny, and I'd have a couple of years laughing. And then it gets to this one point in the show where he's getting taught about how Shakespeare, all life is a stage, and you can see acting. And every day you get up and you act as a dad. You
play a role.
You play a role. Yeah. We all fucking play roles.
Yeah.
And they're in this like Hong Kong mall. And there's teachers just pointing out saying, fucking, look at all these roles that everyone's got. There's a role of a husband and wife having an argument.
Yeah.
Look at them. Look at the pouting she does after this incident. And it seemed to me that this movie, it was a comedy, but it was almost like the director wanted to make this really philosophical movie with this one scene in it. But he had to sell it to the execs and say, fuck, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Everything else was shit, apart from this 5-minute piece.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys, and there's some dude, and he's a bit of a, like his emotions change all the time. He's helping people park their car, and then he tries to sell them something, and they say fuck off, and then he gets all depressed and goes, look at that guy, his reality's changed, like his personality's changed, now he's this. And the student goes, well, so we create our own realities, but which is the real reality? And the guy says, whichever reality you create is the real reality. Like, if you're in an argument, you get angry, you get sulky. You are sulky. Like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But you live that fucking role. Yeah. And then another part of the scene, I went back and watched the scene like 3 times. I thought it was such a fucking good scene. And I actually put it in my phone. And there's another one. Oh, what was it? So, there was... I might have to get my phone. Where is it?
Well, you're bang on, but like we pretty much are just acting out scenarios that ideas that have been imprinted on us about how we should be. They were imprinted
when we were kids, and to get mum's attention, you used to be angry or used to be all sulky and that. And unless you realise those things are imprints when you're older,
you're like a prisoner to it. Yeah.
You're fucking you are, man. Here we go. Let's see. Oh wow! So the movie's called Simply Actors. And what that first thing was, when you create an illusion of reality, it becomes your reality.
Yeah.
So, and another one, the difference between a nutcase and an actor is that the later isn't insane.
Yeah.
So acting and being a nutcase is the same thing.
Yeah.
But and then the most poignant one was the student says, so what's the point of all this? What are we doing? Nothing. The more you try to dig for meaning, the less meaningful it becomes.
Yeah.
Now that's fucking deep.
True.
We try and dig for meaning and everything.
Yeah.
Don't
find it. Yeah.
There is no don't fucking dig for that shit,
it's
man.
It's just a fucking rat hole.
Yeah, it's a rat hole, but the meaning is on the surface.
Yeah.
The meaning is what you fucking give it at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like we'll be gone in less than a blink of an eye of the universe.
Yeah,
this whole planet will be fucking gone.
Yeah.
All that matters is here and now and being good with your kids and being a good dude to your missus. Yeah. And if you're going to break up, fucking you break up, but don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Try and be as good as you can.
Yeah.
Hey, because there probably ain't any fucking meaning. Don't go looking for it, mate.
It's funny that you bring that movie up because I feel like I read that the other day.
Yeah, weird.
I've read it somewhere.
And this was in a Chinese comedy. They're fucking funny movies, man. They're really slapstick, like Jackie Chan, almost like he's like a Charlie Chaplin guy. Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he is.
He's a talented guy, man.
Yeah. But it's interesting. You just fucking run them storylines every day, and that's why you. Well, going back to that relation of like pain and stuff, I just get in like a. And it's funny because I just feel like I'm one of these dramatic fucking characters that you watch documentaries about and stuff, and you get addicted to playing it almost without wanting to. You do, you know what I mean? It's weird. Like I'm looking at myself going, you're not the fucking, you're not an athlete anymore. Like no, like look at you, you can't even train properly at the minute. You're out of shape. And I'm like, dude, that's just your fucking ego. It's just trying to fuck you over, basically. Your ego telling you need to be this or you need to be that, and everyone needs to look up to you, or they need to respect who you are and what you are, and you're not being about it. And then I'm like, wait a second, like that's just part of what I did. Like being fit and in shape and whatever. Like it's all right to let that go for a little bit. Like be healthy and whatever for your wellness and do what makes you happy. But it's like fucking that shit. Like you got to be okay with just
that's it. Yeah.
with who you are. It's learning to do that.
But
It's like shutting that shit off, man.
You're kind of working on other parts of yourself.
Yeah.
Though, like,
I know that too.
Yeah.
But I'll still like.
But
it's just funny how it comes back all the time, and it's like.
don't you think your brain's on a different level now, though?
Yeah,
because
but
you're
I'm
not.
still like. Oh, motherfucker! Like
Yeah,
you're not.
it's in the background.
You suck. Like you should be.
fuck.
Look at you. I'm like, what? I don't even care. Like in my conscious mind, but obviously, it's still that
It's in there somewhere.
conflicting battle between like who I want to be or who I know I am, and who my ego wants me to be or who it thinks I am, or this fucking character that I've built.
Yeah,
Have you always been really busy? Is that why you got a bit more spare time now?
I guess so, but because in any of my down moments, like this is just shit that happens, and I think because in my head I always there's a term for it, but like where I think I've talked about it before. I'm like arguing for one point, but then I got a counter argument as well.
Yeah.
So it's like I get what's going on, but it's very conflicting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can never work. I got to stop trying to work the shit out all the time.
Yeah, just let it be.
Yeah, but it's just annoying because I don't fucking see the sense in it. Like, which pisses me off. But anyway,
as long as you're doing something,
that's a bit of a fucking confusing rant about nothing, really. But. Like that's where
that's what this podcast is all about. Trying to figure out.
In fact, that should be our byline: a confusing rant about fucking nothing. But it's not about nothing because
nothing is everything.
This whole thing
that's fucking philosophical.
Yeah, that is.
It seems to be getting all weirder as we get older. Like I'm fucking almost 15 years older than you, and it fucking just gets weirder.
Yeah.
So like maybe. When you're younger, you go to school and this is the way science is this. These are things. Yeah. It's a solid. It's solid. Yeah, it's the whole world is solid. It's all good. And then the older you get, you realise, man, if you got half a brain, you realise it ain't fucking solid.
Yeah,
it's all floating. Our politics is all fucked. Like, no one's in charge. Yeah. There's no driver on the school bus, man. Like it's
all a fucking.
What blows me out is we're all the same. Like, really, we're all the same. Like,
fuck yeah.
We're all just people.
Well, how different would we have been if, like, we're people that have experience, but let's say we grew up in Saudi Arabia or something. Would we be raving maniac fucking sexist pigs?
Oh, probably.
Would you? Maybe we would.
Probably would.
What do you mean, maybe?
I'd have a longer beard.
Longer beard. You probably have a nice few beamers. But how much is culture? Can you step outside? Certain people throughout all those dissidents have stepped outside of culture and refused to go to war, and everyone hated them or whatever it was. But I don't know. Like I think I've definitely gotten smarter. What does smartness mean? It means being able to take not taking the first angle you think.
Yeah.
Like being able to look at a problem and fucking trying to move it around and seeing all the angles.
Yeah.
And I've definitely gotten better at that, man.
Not married to what.
Yeah,
what
not married to a thought.
Yeah.
Hey, if you come up with a better argument, fuck, I'll switch it a second. I'm not beholden to any argument.
But no.
And that's my main problem with mainstream science is they are fucking addicted, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like
their world.
It's a power play.
They love to be right.
Yeah,
it's
which is
like
an ego.
And also, but the money they get, the way it's set up, you want to do any research, you want funding, you got to fucking follow this line.
Yeah.
Large Hadron Collider or satellites, you want any fucking time on that?
Well, when are we doing the
electric universe? Oh, such a big story. Fuck, I don't even know how to start.
We'll have to do just a Matt podcast.
We actually might do a documentary on it.
That would be
then
cool.
Again, not saying it's true, but there's an idea out there.
It's a good theory.
That universe Einstein came along, and basically since then, since the 1920s, the universe has been driven by gravity. Gravity-centric. Gravity does everything, and that worked fucking sweet. Until recently, where I've started studying the spin rates of galaxies, and it turns out that, like you got a wheel, and fucking this inside spins slowly, but the outside spins a bit faster. It's faster on the outside. Galaxies don't work like that. The outside is spinning the same speed as the inside. And that's a fucking big problem. And so what they came up with was not really a theory or anything. They got this theory and it didn't work with galaxies. Right, we've got this theory, it fucking works with everything else. It's great. It doesn't work here. So, fuck. Why doesn't it work? Well, there's not enough mass there. Okay, well, how much mass do we need? Well, we need about fucking 90% more than that's there. So, okay, well, it must be there somewhere because the theory can't be wrong. Why can't the theory be wrong? They never asked that. They said, no, the theory can't be wrong. It's called dark matter. Dark because we don't know what it is, but it's definitely going to be there. In fact, we even need more than that because the universe seems to be expanding too fast or whatever. Okay, we need something else called dark energy. So out of all the mass in the universe, everything we can see is not enough to make it work properly for their theory. So now we'll just make up whatever fucking shit we want to make the theory work. That's just not fucking how science works.
Just like Jesus.
It's just like Jesus. When I say fucking Jesus did it, like they better have to say we don't know what happened.
Amen.
Fucking not knocking Jesus or anything like that, but like science is supposed to be like you make a theory, you do experiments, and if experiments prove the theory or they don't.
That's right.
Now,
that's how
what is proven or don't? Like how much out? If it's out by 10%, I think it's probably reasonable. Out by 20%, okay, but it's out by 99 fucking %.
That's too far.
It's too much, you know. Like,
and I know fuck all.
Let's start look. Yeah, but it's better not to. Like this is what science is. It's not an idealism or anything. It's a method of inquiry, and this is the method. That's all it is, you know. And it fucks me off on the news now, where at the end of every news bulletin, and scientists say they fucking found anuses on Uranus or whatever. It's become like a priesthood, which is what science is supposed to be against.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know because it's science, and we've got this professor here with a whole wall of fucking things that you won't understand because you're a dumb fuck.
Yeah.
You know, they do. Well, they don't. Fucking they don't. You know, and there's an idea out there which fits all, it covers everything, and it does it really nicely and concisely. And all it says is that the electromagnetic force, which we all use everywhere, electricity actually has a role to play bigger than gravity in the universe. That's what it says. And that's all the electric universe is. And then they have reams and reams and reams of proof. And so then we'll come to a discussion about weighing up the facts and that. And I'm not saying it's true or not, but I'm saying it's definitely worth a look. And it seems more than plausible. And the more you look at these scientists with their weird, we didn't expect that to happen. We didn't expect that. Fuck it, we didn't expect that. It's fucking everywhere, man.
They're humans.
Yeah, but they're humans, but the scientific method is you come up with a theory, it's fucking wrong, change the theory.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't. And so
they just keep arguing
the same theory and trying to stretch this theory.
Yeah. Anyone becomes about power and funding and
how do you get funding,
like
man?
that,
Large Hadron Collider is like $100 billion.
Wow. Fuck.
You can't fucking imagine if the electric universe is right.
Wow.
And Einstein was fucking wrong. 100 years of bullshit. You know, how could Einstein be wrong? Computers work and all that. Well, they all... Like, Einstein didn't invent a fucking thing. You know, computers getting faster every year and that is because of engineering. We're better at technology. It's got nothing to do with the scientific principles underneath it.
No,
all that we're using is Tesla. What he came up with the AC fucking generator.
Yeah.
This is electrical shit. You know, Tesla believed in an electric universe. You know, like everything we use is electrical. Well, the impulse from your brain fucking to your finger is electrical. The impulses in your brain are electrical.
Yeah.
He was looked at as a heathen, wasn't he, Tesla?
Yeah.
He's kind of like the bad guy of science.
He fell in love with a pigeon and shit like that. But he's a fucking guy, man. He when he actually, I don't know, I haven't seen a documentary on him.
He fell in love with a pigeon.
Evidently. Yeah. Pigeons are nice, you know. Like,
yeah, shit.
I don't think he ever consummated the act.
Fuck.
Where would it go?
But he
would have died.
He got booed out of uni or something for like for doing
pigeon.
stuffed with something.
Sold it to the Chinese.
Oh shit!
When he came up, he'd dream up his inventions, but he'd dream them up with like 1,000 little cogs, and he'd write out on the blueprints to the micromillimeter. He'd have a dream about a machine, and he'd write the whole fucking blueprint out, pages and pages of this shit out of his fucking head. Yeah. You know, and he'd do calculus in his head. No one can. You need a fucking computer to do that, and he'd do it at uni. And so that's the answer. They fucking, I think they booted him out or something. You can't do that. He did. Like he was a fucking uber freak, man. And he wasn't even the smartest guy at the time. There was a dwarf fucking guy, Steinmetz, that was even smarter than
no one cared about him. Like,
I don't think he'd fuck.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, science itself has a history. You know, and they made, it's like like Christianity, they'd made a decision 200 years after Jesus that this is what the Bible will be. And
Yeah.
get rid of all these other stories.
Yeah.
And science has done the same thing. This is what science is now Einstein, and we'll fuck off all those other stories. And I think they threw out the baby with the bathwater with those other stories. These people weren't dumb, you know?
Yeah.
And that is the fundamental basics of
But
the electric
I
universe, which
reckon
we'll get into later.
Episode 20 should be a full
Yeah.
episode.
Well,
Man,
Bob
really will go
Thornhill,
to
who's the head of the electric universe, lives in Canberra, man.
Get him on.
He's a physicist. Yeah,
Get him
he's
up.
70-year-old now. Yeah, man, we'll fucking get
Fucking
him
Quick,
out.
before he dies. Fuck.
Yeah. Smack Panda him up.
We don't.
Get your ass up here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about quarantine.
We're all right, man. Australia's all right. We've
Yeah,
got
man.
5 fucking
We're
cases
good.
or something. I'm
We've
not
actually done
anti it.
better. Like,
But-
than I was pissed off at the start of the year that we're going into lockdown, but I mean, I don't know.
can
I think they've
understand
handled
it.
it pretty well, considering look at the other countries now; they're all fucked because we're
Yeah.
pretty compliant citizens and we
Oh,
do
yeah,
the right
like-
thing. Like,
well, we're
I think,
an island,
I think we've
man,
got a
you know?
shitload of luck.
because we're away and
But then
stop
Daniel
travel
Andrews
and-
in Melbourne, you know, like he's
Yeah.
going to I don't even know if he'll
Yeah,
lose the next election, but that was a fuck up.
That was a fuck up. Yeah.
But then again, it wasn't a normal Labor fuck up because Labor are normally the guys that get the government to do everything, and yet he did the Liberal thing and actually got private contractors in who fucked up. Surprise, surprise, private contractors fucked up.
Oh, Jesus, mate.
What's going on there? Where's it going?
I made a noise.
Shut up.
Chomsky. But yeah, no, there's I'm just a bit fucking overhearing about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know that I
Like, it's
really
not
have
fucking
lately, to be
Ebola,
honest.
you know?
Yeah, we're not dropping dead like some people. I don't know.
Even in the
So,
States, you know, like they've just let it run rampant. And I don't know how many people, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an asshole, actually. So I'm not sure where I stand on it. Like our friend David, who'll be coming on, his wife works in the ER as a doctor, and I don't want her to be sick because I can't be fucked wearing a mask. So I
Yeah.
think, fair enough, you know, but it's every day on the ABC.
it's like you don't need the
fucking
updates
again.
anymore.
The-
Like, really?
There is a real big scaremongering thing going
Yeah.
on with it. I've had the flu, like proper flu, and that was fucking bad.
Yeah.
If this thing's 4 times worse than the flu, well, I'll just prefer to die, man. 'cause
Yeah,
fucking flu
I've heard
sucks.
people having it that barely even knew anything was wrong with them.
Yeah, but most people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trumpy kicked it in 4
Sure.
days.
Yeah, did he?
That's what they're saying.
Well, and he's a fat,
And
like
he's
he's an
an old-
obese.
he's
old
living off
prick.
Fucking
Fucking McDonald's.
painkiller addicted
Yeah.
motherfucker.
So, like,
Probably.
yeah, I don't know where I stand.
Other
on
people
it.
are kicking it in a couple of days, but
And so
I think it
most
depends on
people
your-
don't even know. There'll be heaps of people in Australia that asymptomatic didn't even like. Since
Did you hear
it's
about
going to be
it?
here.
Had it.
did you hear
you
about
know.
the sewage? They found a lot of COVID
Yeah,
cases.
so-
Look,
Someone-
I got to be David Icke on that shit. I just call bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's 100 million litres of
That's right,
sewage,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
how the
fucking
fuck
fuck
did he pick
one
that up?
tiny molecule.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, because he actually comes up with some good like arguments for how they test it and shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how
they
get the
did. It's
false
fair enough.
readings.
Like,
yeah, and
it's
like
all genetic
science-based,
test,
like-
and then they've got to amplify. Actually, my next door neighbour is a scientist who does a COVID test. He's
Yeah,
actually
okay.
moved. It'd be good to get him on. He's moved away.
Fucking get him on.
Well, he's moved up to Queensland, but
Bring him up.
But what he was saying about it, why they have people there, he said the algorithms aren't good enough to actually see the graphs. And he goes, to get an algorithm that can actually see a change in a graph is really hard. So they actually need people with eyes to sit there and... He's not really doing the science, though. He's just looking at graphs and shit. What Ike was saying about it not being a proper test is, I think, almost fair enough. But then that's how they've always... It's not like they came up with this weird test for getting any type of lung infection... tested is really difficult. You know, the lungs are actually considered. I was talking with mate Colin about this, and he's a biology freak. The lungs are considered part of your skin. They're actually they're an interaction between the outside world and the inside world.
Yeah.
So they're more like a skin.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really difficult.
filtration.
Yeah, yeah. They're an interface, so it's hard to see what's going on with the lungs. You know, but the idea of getting 100 million litres and putting a little fucking bit on a thing and saying, "Oh, there's a tiny bit of COVID in it." That sounds
just
like
ridiculous.
fucking bullshit
Yeah,
to me. You
it's
know,
just-
the noise, like as a musician and shit, the signal to noise ratio would be bullshit. You wouldn't, you know, like if I'm the signal, if I'm COVID, you know, this microphone would be 1,000 miles that way, and you're going to say, "Fucking, you can hear me." You just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone can come on and tell me I'm right.
It's cool to be wrong.
It's cool to be wrong, but
we're not married to any of these.
No, we're not
ideas.
married, but you got to think. When I hear that sewage testing thing, I just think,
So what's the point of
I
it
thought
anyway?
that was a bit. Yeah, I thought that was a bit.
It sounds
too
like a bit of
far out.
scaremongering
Yeah, I
bullshit
was
to
like,
me.
hang on a minute.
Who would want to stay at home today?
Dipping around in
But-
turds looking for COVID.
Yeah, and even the idea of just putting it on the news constantly, like you go on YouTube and each day there's the update on 1 new case, 0 cases, and why the fuck is there a press conference every day?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why there's a press conference
yeah.
for something that's not happening?
And the flu kills more people. And
Fucking hell, how many people been reported from the flu dying?
And how many
None.
people fucking suicided because they were stuck at home?
Bro,
How many people
yeah.
didn't go to their cancer fucking...
How many people lost their jobs?
Job, their
shit,
businesses,
yeah, that's
like,
right. I was thinking about that, jobs and businesses, because I have friends that have lost theirs. I was hoping this thing might actually instigate a universal income, or maybe realise we don't fucking necessarily want to do that shit job anymore.
Yeah.
And we just demand a better society, because robots will do all the fucking work, and we just need to rejig the way we think of ourselves. But it's not going to happen. Not yet.
No.
I was hoping it was going to happen without society fucking crumbling.
Yeah.
But,
I think they're too married to the way things have been.
yeah, well, people...
Society
yeah.
is...
A lot of people can't imagine that, oh, man, if people don't have to work, they'll be all fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you
Please,
talking about?
You fucking work. Like,
Work
you gotta
fucks
bust your
people
ass
up.
for what? Like, you imagine how happy you'd be if you're just doing shit like passion
you wanna
projects.
do.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before
Yeah.
about this idea of having to be this fucking animal that's like outworking everyone, and it's bullshit, man. It doesn't make you
I was
happy
like that
anyway.
when I was a chef. I
Makes you
did a
miserable,
30-hour
man.
shift once. And I'm like, I did a 30-hour
Yeah.
shift. Look at me.
Gives
Fuck,
a
what a
fuck.
fucking
30
idiot.
hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were sitting up for a wedding. It was a new
Holy
restaurant, so we worked.
fuck.
It was over in London. We did a fucking whole day plus another half a day.
Fucking
without
dead.
sleep.
And what did you get? Probably an extra $400.
Yeah, fuck all. Like, it was bullshit. I worked my 21st, I worked my 18th, I worked the year 2000 fucking New Year's Eve.
And your boss probably made shit
And he
loads.
fired me the next fucking day.
What an asshole.
Like, it
He
was
needs a
all
kick in the
bullshit.
dick.
I was this young fucking guy that thought, I'm going to be a good worker and that, and all he did was get fucked over.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's not how you get ahead, man.
No.
It's bullshit. It's not
It's
how you
not
get
how
happy
you-
either.
No, I've got a little bit of residual anger about
Yeah.
that.
I think
But,
you need to be born into wealth.
no, they're the worst type of people.
Yeah,
No,
they're
no,
much
to be wealthy.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
You know what I
different-
mean?
You're not going to get
Yeah,
wealthy.
but
You're
what's
not
the
ever
me-
going to
what-
be a fucking...
But what's the
A
idea
brickie
of
measure of wealth,
anyway?
yeah.
You know, like,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
You know,
true.
I think we
But you're not
measure
going to be a
wealth little
brickie and end
differently.
up wealthy, are you?
no, you're going to
No.
be fucking crippled,
You're gonna
man. They
probably
should be
become
on
a drug addict.
$1,000 an hour or something, because
They should.
they got a short lifespan, those fuckers. 50 years and that's it for their
Man, I
work,
did one
man.
day of that shit when I was like 16, but I remember waking up like in spasms. Like, I'm never doing that again.
I used to love it. When I was young, I was like, I'm working my guts out. This is great. And then about 4 years in, I'm like, fucking kill me.
Yeah.
This is shit.
Tough,
Looking
yeah.
at the dudes racking up on the way to the job site
Yeah.
because they're
What, racking
they're-
up coke?
Yeah. I
Nah,
remember,
speed.
Oh,
yeah.
speed,
yeah,
yeah.
to keep them like
I remember delivering.
like,
fucking
got to get
hell.
the bricks in.
I remember
Yeah.
being 16 delivering plasterboard one day, and I jumped, and they just rung me out for a day's work, like
Yeah.
a trial. I jumped in the car with them, and they had fucking like pulled some crack out of the fucking glove box, and it take that before on the way to the job driving. I was like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
what is this, man?
5 in the morning, racking up.
But how much
this
is that? Like, they're on $20 an hour or some shit.
Yeah,
anyway.
they're-
So it goes half a fucking day's work.
Exactly,
anyway, you know?
exactly. It's a vicious cycle. I
Yeah,
remember
it
working
is.
with one guy. He was that fucking messed up. He was having it all day. He was just dipping his finger in the bag, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had no teeth.
Oh, man.
He was like in his late 40s, but he looked like he was like 90.
Because it's weird
He was-
signals, eh? This great little kid he would have been. He would have been a 3 or 4 year old, a
Yeah.
potential fucking Einstein, and somewhere like
Just
that-
get
Yeah.
skewed,
It's-
yeah.
That's why I see anyone's yelling in the wind down the mall.
You know,
I
the
just feel
best thing
sorry
that
for
happened to
mate.
him,
Yeah.
he ended up winning the lottery.
Oh,
He
was that
won
good
like-
for him?
He won about $2 million. He ended up moving to Thailand. That was the last I heard
Fuck,
of
he'll
him.
be a billionaire over.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he would have just killed himself?
Probably,
with that shit?
yeah.
I saw something on the Thai King today. We were speaking
Oh yeah,
about
we were
him
talking
last
about
night.
him the other day. What's-
Fuck, man, that family's he's worth like $70 billion or some shit.
Yeah.
Thai King, and he's getting around in crop tops. So that, like, there's that shit still going on. Like all the
Yeah,
all
the
the youth
students.
are like
Yeah, yeah.
revolting, and they got
Yeah.
the protests and shit. And he's been in Germany just living it up, renting out this whole hotel.
Oh, yeah. There's a Prince Regent or whatever. Yeah,
getting around in his little fucking... He wears bloody crop tops. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that's what they're pissed off, that he's just been getting... like
royalty's one thing, but the people that actually follow them
Yeah.
and want them to be there, they're
Fanatics.
fucking nutcases.
Yeah.
That's just the baby. You get 1,000 babies in a hospital. Which one's the royal? That baby's the good baby.
Yeah.
It's royal. It's just fucking... We're past this, aren't we? Are we going to leave this planet and fucking do something decent for the universe?
Yeah.
Or are we going to be stuck like fucking apes, worshipping a fucking big ape?
a nobody.
You know, like...
And they're fucking genetically half the time worse off because inbred motherfuckers.
And also, we don't need them anymore. Like,
no, we don't.
you know, we can be independent. You get solar panels. You can fucking get the rainwater. You can live really fucking well without anyone.
Yeah.
You know, we should be getting less government, but less government without more corporation.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem when
the
people say we don't
corporation
want...
is the problem with the government.
That's
probably.
right, because the corporations are fucking ruling the governments, you know?
Yeah.
So... but the corporations can be dealt with, you know. They're a weird entity, but we can change the corporate laws.
Stop fucking purchasing everything.
Stop purchasing. We'll even kill the corporations, man. I fucking kill BP.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the same rights as a human, so let's give it a death penalty, man. Let's fucking knock it on the head, or let's make it so BP says, okay, well, BP, you're rather than making money for your shareholders, you can do that, but you now have to cure AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
And so we'll give BP a mission, like IKEA.
Yeah.
IKEA's mission was to, because it's not on the share market, was to furnish the world. So that whole company ideology wasn't just to make money; it was to actually furnish the world. To put fucking cupboards in Africa
with shitty furniture.
Yeah, with shitty furniture, but it's nice looking furniture.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a cupboard,
fucker knows how to put together.
yeah.
Well,
Well, it educates people that way.
M gets them together pretty good.
But you know, that's what I'm thinking. Let's give these corporations a fucking role.
Yeah.
You know, rather than just let's fucking destroy the planet for this imaginary money which we make up anyway.
I know, it's fucking
You know,
wake up, man.
So it's not. It wouldn't take.
Not
much
that
to
we're
actually
against
make
making it, but
Like, if you're going to have money, just send it to us.
Bitcoin. I'll give you a Bitcoin address and you
Bitcoin.
send it there. Although evidently now, man, all the billionaires are into Bitcoin and shit now. So it's still like, not that we give financial advice. A 20 grand
You
Australian
definitely shouldn't
is
take it
still
up
a
us.
good buy. But all the fucking what's his name? Who's the Warren Buffett and that's now buying into
Oh,
it.
Warren
it's all over. It's all over.
So it's, you
Motherfucker.
don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy $500 worth. And I guarantee, I'm going to make a guarantee now. That $500 you invest now, this time next year will be worth $2,000. So that's a good investment. And I've called it. And if it hasn't, I will drink, I'll scull 6 beers.
Some poor guy's lost his life savings.
Because
Matt still gets the next 6 years. Motherfucker. He's celebrating it.
But our fans aren't idiots. They'll do their own research and make their own mind up.
No one does research. Are you joking?
So you boys are off tomorrow.
Oh, we're off down, where are we going? Jervis
Mollymook
Bay?
Coast.
Mollymook. Is that by Jervis Bay?
Nah, man.
no,
it's
Ulladulla
like 60 minutes south, I think, maybe.
Oh, so it's further than Jervis Bay and that?
Yeah. Nice spot. Good spot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway,
much there, but
our
it's
international fans, I saw we had some Americans watching. So
This
at
will be
us,
out in
we're
about
south of
4 weeks,
Sydney.
so
We're about
we'll be home.
we're about an hour south of Sydney in Australia, and so Mollymook could be 2 hours south of Sydney, but the beaches there are
Better than anything you got there. Sure.
Like maybe the Caribbean might come close or something, but
Fucking
we're
nah,
talking
man. I just don't
the
think-
finest sand in the world, crystal blue water. Oh my god, it's awesome! And I'm going to roll us a few joints.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm going to try and get your father stoned, my father-in-law. So he's retired.
You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Get that on camera.
Not that this is going to be pretend marijuana, of course, because
That'll blow his brain apart.
No, man, Dad's always been a poet, you know, and he
No, but that's what I mean. It'll just...
Oh yeah, well, it's not LSD or anything. I think not a lot.
No.
Just a little bit so he can enjoy.
I think
a beer.
that will still blow.
Just a little contact high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll sit around him and blow some smoke in his face.
I remember
Have you ever been stoned?
my old man.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows?
He must have been.
Well, he
back in the
grew
day.
never
up.
talked to him about
he
that
had
shit?
super long, mullety hair, like.
But he grew up in the Salvation Army family and all
Yeah.
that, so
Yeah.
straight
But
180s.
Paul,
you know?
my uncle.
Oh, Paul's a smoker.
Yeah.
Sure. He
was into
bald,
everything.
you know?
So. Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out.
Well, we've got some nice bushweed and that, so I think. I just had a thought today that I think I'm going to. I think since Pop's retired,
he needs to experience it.
Yes, he needs to experience, but I just feel like he's missing a bit. When he was a really important cat, like he's a boiler, like he's fucking good at his job. You know, when it comes to breaking down a huge machine and that, he's the man. And so at work, he was the man, but now he's retired.
Yeah.
And he's the husband, you know, like, and he's Pop and shit. And I asked him about it the other day, and he said he was fine with it, but I just don't know if I feel that he's fine with it, you know.
Like, you know why? Because if they ring him for anything, he answers straight away.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He needs another job.
They still ring him up and ask him shit.
Yeah.
He's still...
Second advice.
He loves that important...
Of course he does.
Like, he's 40
purpose.
Years. That's been his purpose for his whole life.
That's right. And he could come home, but he's still... This is the... part of his life, and it's a difficult transition. I must imagine it's really tough. But like, he's got other things in his life, not just his family,
like sculptures,
wonderful sculptures, and trumput. Man, he blows
about
me trumpet.
$85 right there.
In fact, he's on the Speak Sister Easy album there. If you want to check that out. So we got him to play a trumpet solo, and he turned up, man. He's like a true Australia 180, but he turned up to this session, man, and he was like smoking his fucking pipe and shit, and he had big dark glasses on, a trench coat, looked like Miles Davis. Like, he really fucking took it to heart. This is just down. What the fuck's going on? Who's that guy? Yeah, baby. Where's the fucking microphone? Holy shit! So
that's what he'd be like after a few joints.
Yeah. So we'll bring his trumpet down, and maybe we'll have a jam actually.
Yeah, I'll bring the guitar.
Yeah, I'll bring the guitar in that as well.
Cool.
We'll film it, bring the cameras, and we might even pop it up.
Yeah.
Actually, we might get Pop Pete in. He's a great poet. And
he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, no, we'll put him on the Australian election.
Oh, that's not for ages, isn't it?
I don't know.
Nah, it's still a couple of years
So,
away.
You sure?
I think it's a year or two.
We can still do the aftermath of Trumpy, because he's not going for a couple of months. Well, I've noticed he just made a big sale to UAE for 100 billion or something. Selling arms.
Okay.
Fucking terrible. All they do is blow kids up. Anyway, so yes, we'll get him on. Maybe we'll get him on blowing trumpet.
That's better than blowing arms off.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Cool. Big
I
week.
think we'll wrap it up.
I think we'll wrap it up.
Week.
Thanks for sitting around through another rant.
Multiple signs.
And next time we
topics.
promise we're going to have a guest.
An interesting person.
An interesting person.
That's not us.
Yeah. And they'll show up.
They may show up even, which will be even better. Otherwise, we're just going to have a cardboard cutout of Ali here. And we'll put the face on there and we'll pay them out for not turning up. Right. Cheers.
Have a good week, guys.
That was a shit clap.
Oh, really?
Clap them.
That's not good.